Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmie. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us once again on Crime and Sports, episode 279. We are pushing toward 300 with a vengeance.
Holy shit.
It is coming. We have a fun episode. It's wrestling, everybody. Brain damage sports, and just a very, very bad guy this week. We've had a few where they're like, this guy's a jerk, but you kind of feel for him. He's got this, he's got, you know what I mean? Like, Israel Lang was fun, you know, and Rod Scurry are like, just stop doing so much coke. Don't hang out with the crack house.
Put the coke down, you'll be fine.
You know, even Tyson, you're like, man, what? I mean, all the bad things he did, you're like, Jesus, what a horrible upbringing and everything. Today, you're just a irredeemable asshole, so it's wonderful. We're playing idiot or asshole, and we have both today, so it's great. Both in one guy. Before we get to that, quickly, just want to say, first of all, thank you for your reviews. They help a lot, so I don't know, whatever platform app you're listening on, throw some stars at us. It helps a lot. Say something nice. It's not for our ego, to drive us up the charts. You know how that works.
Exactly.
Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now for your tickets for live shows. We have coming up Brea Improv here this week. Good.
Right.
Jesus, it's this Sunday at the Brea Improv. Get your tickets there. I think San Diego, is sold out still, right? Yeah,
I think so too. Observatory. Yeah.
Check. You never know. There might be 2 or 3 that pop up or something, but it's pretty sold out there. And but Crime and Sports, there is one live Crime and Sports with tickets available, and that is in August in Sacramento of 2022. So get those. Otherwise, I don't know. Check that out. Patreon this week. I am excited for Patreon. I'm excited to share these little slices of crazy with everybody here. We're jacked for Crime and Sports, and this is patreon.com/crime and sports, of course.
Yeah.
You can find you get access to both episodes, all the bonus. Any bonuses we do, you're going to get it. Small Town Murders bonus, Crime and Sports is bonuses. Anybody $5 or above is going to get it all. And this week we're going to do for Crime and Sports the flagship international sports television. Oh. If you don't know what that is, it's because that's not a real television network. It was a sting operation set up by federal marshals to get wanted violent fugitives all in one place and arrest them with promises of free Redskins tickets. It's
Imagine.
Amazing the way this whole thing breaks down, and there's several murderers that were caught. It's pretty interesting, this whole thing, and it's all centered around the Redskins tickets. It's hilarious.
Big Hogs fan.
Yep, this is in the 80s. It's amazing stuff. And then for Small Town Murders, we're going to do a really fun one, the Crappy Real Estate Report, where we are going to talk about some of the worst small town real available homes to buy from our and there's some bad ones out there. We're gonna have a lot of fun with that, of course, because we love the real estate report, and some of these are just a trip, and we'll post the corresponding pictures on social media or links to the houses, or we'll figure out some way for you to follow along. But check that out, patreon.com/crime and sports, where you get all of that, and you'll get a shout out at the end of the show, because you know what, we appreciate you, so that's all we can do. Thank you. We'll give bonus episodes and shout-outs. That's as much as we can do, and thank you for everything you do for us. And if you just want to get a shout-out, you can do that over at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Let's get into it, shall we?
Okay.
Let's do this. Let us talk about our asshole of the day today. And it's a guy you've probably never heard of if you're not a big wrestling person, if you don't really know him well, which is kind of most of the fun of this episode. Is we talk a lot about very successful wrestlers.
Yeah.
We've talked about, Von Erichs, and we've talked about, Scott Hall and Jake the Snake Roberts, and these are all legendary names, you know what I mean? A lot of them. We've got our Buck Zumhoffs, too, and our Hardbody Harrisons. But still, we've had mostly very successful wrestlers we've talked about. Jimmy Snuka, these are legendary guys. Today, we are going to talk about a jobber. Now, if you don't know what a jobber is, a jobber...
The guy that takes the fall.
He takes the fall. Now, that's become a different thing now. Now there really isn't jobbers anymore, really. Everybody's pretty decent, and they try to keep it so everybody seems to be valuable. Whereas back in
everybody's got a personality and a gimmick that they're running.
Yes.
Before, there was just your run-of-the-mill white guy in Speedo.
Singlet. He's out of shape more than the guy he's fighting. He definitely doesn't look like he should. He belongs in the ring with him. It looks like your dad.
Is fighting. Replaceable.
Your dad is fighting Randy Macho Man Savage on Saturday morning. That's what it looks like. And, they get beat up, knocked around. The guy does their finishing move on him to show how impressive they are. All these guys they're called enhancement talent. They're there to enhance the stars, is what they are. And since the beginning of, the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and about half the 90s, jobbers were an essential part of the business. You had to have those guys to make the other guys look good until the whole Monday Night War, when you couldn't have nobodies fighting. Every match had to be exciting and mean something. Otherwise, they'd switch the channel because it was a ratings war.
How are you going to put that on TV?
Whereas on a Saturday morning, when I was 8, you turn it on and you'd watch Macho Man beat your dad up, and that was it. He'd do the flying elbow smash, and he'd be like, all right, good for you.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah, he does look impressive.
Yeah, you tune in for Macho Man, not for the other guy.
No,
but then they realized you can double your audience when you are having people tune in for each.
Yeah, well, the problem is in those matches that are big guys against big guys don't really mean anything because you see them all the time. That's how they used to get WrestleMania, or that's how you would get you to go to Madison Square Garden to see the show, because it's like, oh, finally all the good guys are, all the good wrestlers are fighting each other rather than nobodies. Right. That's how you would go. You've watched them beat these guys up, but now they're going to fight each other finally. So I've always been fascinated. I've had a fascination with these jobbers since I was a little kid. Because as a little kid, I was like, I didn't know, obviously, when I was 8, really what the deal was. I didn't figure out wrestling till I was about 10 to look like exactly what they were doing. There was the Honky Tonk Man. He came out, and he's always being booed. You ever seen the Honky Tonk Man? It's like an Elvis impersonator gimmick. Right. And he'd come out, and he would say always what a great guitar player and singer and dancer he is, right? That's what he would always say. So he'd come out, and he'd be like singing along with his theme song that's sung by him. You know what I mean? And the crowd's booing him, and he'd just go, you know what? You people are so wonderful. One more time. Turn that music. We're going to do it one more time. And they would just, you motherfucker. And people would. And that's when I figured it out. That's when I went, oh, he's trying to be a dick. He wants them to hate him. Yeah. I get it now. And that's when the whole thing made sense to me of like, whatever. But before that, I just knew there was something wrong about putting, some guy who clearly has a day job, nothing against day jobs, but this guy is like doing extermination during the day. He's like crawling in your under your house to get rid of your millipedes. And then
he's cleaning ductwork.
And then that night, and then that weekend, he's like, sorry, I can't go fishing with you guys. I got to go put a singlet on and let Macho Man Randy Savage flying elbow smash me on television at early Saturday morning. I can't be there. That fascinated me as a kid. Like, who the fuck is this guy? He has no chance. Why is he there? Why would he show up? I didn't know.
It's fascinating that it's a different train of thought than most people have, because most people they're watching the announcer go to interview Randy Savage after the fight, and you're like running down the hallway being like, wait, hold on, Joe Lansing, I want to talk to you.
I'm like, where's that guy go afterwards? He can't feel good about himself. I see him get beat every week.
Let's go talk to Joe Lansing that nobody's ever heard of. He goes by his first and last name. This guy's got a nickname.
Maybe someday he'll get a win. So today we're going to talk about one of these guys, and this is a particularly interesting jobber because a lot of these jobbers were never meant to be anything but jobbers. They're just local guys wherever they're doing their television taping. These are the guys that live within driving distance that they don't have to fly in, and they bring them in and they pay them $100 to get the shit beat out of them on television. They'll have
a decent gig.
Yeah, they'll have 4 matches in a day because the TV tapings were like 4 weeks, and they get paid a few $100. You know, they make $400 and they go home and they go back to crawling under your house to exterminate your millipedes.
Go back to Lansing.
Yeah, that's what they do. So it's an interesting thing. That's most of the guys. They know who they are. And then on smaller promotions, these jobber guys are actually like somebody in smaller promotions. They might be the champion of the, some tiny little promotion, and then they're nobody on TV with WWF. Sure. And you'd see like some of the jobbers are just young guys, whereas like Mick Foley got beat by Kamala back in the day, and there's it's a famous thing of Kamala splashing him and all this shit when he was Jack Foley in like 1986 or something, and him getting beat up by the British Bulldogs. There's Shane Douglas had these jobber matches, so you get some young guys that go in before they're anybody, but most of the time it's this kind of guy. But this guy here, they were actually thinking about him being a character. Like, if he did well, he could have had like a figure and all this stuff, but he was such a shitty wrestler that they were like, never mind, fuck that guy.
God damn it, James. Who is he?
It is. You've never heard of him. Stephen Nathaniel Ketcher is his name. Ketcher. He went by Steve Gatorwolf.
What?
Steve Gatorwolf, which is probably the most Florida name I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
That sounds like...
doesn't even exist.
No, if you asked, I don't know, if you just asked everyone in Florida, what would you change your name to? I would say 60% of the men would go, Steve Gatorwolf. Ain't nothing tougher than a gator and a wolf together.
Yeah.
His skin's like leather, you know what I mean? But he's like nasty like a wolf and tough like a gator. 2 of them. Gator Wolf. And my name's Steve, because everyone in Florida's name is Steve.
Something Napoleon Dynamite would draw.
This is a Gator Wolf.
This is my favorite animal of all time. It's a gator wolf.
That's Steve Gator Wolf is his name, is what he goes by.
So white people's chupacabra.
Well, yes, but he's also a Native American, so he is not.
Oh.
Yes, and I don't know if he's a full-blooded Native. He says he is, but I mean that doesn't mean anything. This is wrestling. He also says he played college football for BYU, and I can't find any record of that either. So this is wrestling, man. Anything's possible here.
It's a real typical place for BYU to go scout over there on the reservation.
I mean, he's a big guy. He's
I'm sure,
6 foot, 6'1", 200, high 200s. He's a big guy, but you could probably throw him on the
mostly
offensive line.
Scouting dudes named Kaysen or some shit like that.
But he is a Mormon as well.
Is he really?
Yes, he is. So that's another odd thing. He's apparently a Native American Mormon, which is...
Never heard of it.
I don't know anything about it, but
it's possible. Anything's possible.
Hey, he grew up in Utah, so I mean, they're going to get to you eventually there, I assume. So,
Blackfoot, Idaho's named Blackfoot after the Blackfoot Indian tribe. So who knows?
That's what I mean. So Steve Gatorwolf, he is born in September 20th, 1957. So yes. Now I found I believe his grandfather's. I'm sorry. This is his father's obituary. I found his father, James. He was born in Cherokee County, Oklahoma. I found Cherokee was his native language, so his father's definitely
he's certainly native.
Native, if his Cherokee's his native language, that seems He grew up. This is James, his father, on 14 Mile Creek, hunting and fishing for his family. So he grew up.
Wow.
Yeah, he grew up in a different way than He grew up like old-fashioned, right? Like a native way. He attended Indian boarding school, which I didn't know that was a thing. And then he ran away for good from his family, Jimmy. Uh-huh. This all happened before he ran away. He was hunting and fishing for his family, doing all this, going to boarding school, till he finally ran away. Guess what age he ran away, Jimmy?
11.
9. They were depending on a 7-year-old for food before that. Go out and kill something. What Blue's Clues is on? I can't.
You'd think that a family losing their foraging, their person that goes and gets our dinner would be probably devastating. But if it's a 7-year-old, how much food could he possibly be bringing?
He must have been good at it. Everybody survived. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure he wasn't the only one tasked with this. But from what I can find out, he seems to have about 8 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
So it's a big family. That's just so funny. You have kids. I have kids. Can you imagine at 7? You can't send them out to do anything at 7. They'll get distracted. No. I'm not going to send them out with a gun and a fishing pole and say, come back with dinner.
I could barely send them out to go have fun. Go outside and play.
Huh?
No. All right. Well,
what's the Wi-Fi password out there?
Yeah. Good thing we're not relying on your fun for us to eat.
Yeah. No shit, man. So his father served in the CC Corps. I don't know what that is, the CC Corps. He was born in 1913, so seems like he would have been World War II-ish age. He could have been in World War II, so maybe that's something to do with the service during the war, CC Corps. That makes sense.
Looking at the wrong guy.
I don't know. Some kind of home, preparing. I don't know what the fuck. So he played baseball professionally, his father did. Yeah. So he comes from an athletic family here. He played in the Florida State Baseball League professionally, his dad. Awesome. So that must have been cool, too, in like the 30s.
Yeah.
A cool time to play baseball.
When all that mattered was the sport.
Yeah, it was the national pastime. Like everyone was obsessed with baseball back then. That's all anyone cared about. No basketball, no football, no fucking hockey. That's for Canadians. Baseball was it. So that must have been cool at the time. He apparently he taught baseball to a lot of kids in Jacksonville, Florida, where they settled down. And he had a lot of leagues going, youth leagues that he would run, and would run like big camps for kids to teach them baseball and shit like that. He also belonged to the National Painters Union. He's a house painter as well.
I didn't know there was a union. That's great.
It probably doesn't exist anymore,
probably
but it, there's unions. I know
competition and shit. Yeah.
Well, that's back then when there was like fucking unions when people could had anything. Yeah. Now they've somehow convinced union people that unions are bad, which is hilarious.
Just bastardized a trap.
Yeah,
that's great. That's unbelievable.
I say that because Jimmie's in a union is why I say that. He's in the electric.
Unions
people.
IBW, babe. Unions are a big deal, and they get people a working and living wage, and it's
and that will piss a lot of people off that you said that. That's hilarious.
It also kills people. Ask Jimmie Hoffa.
Yeah. So. He got married to a woman named Lois Bryan of Jacksonville, who I don't believe is Native American. So I feel like it's a half thing. Yeah. Lois Bryan of Jacksonville just doesn't sound like...
Jacksonville, Florida?
Yeah. Jacksonville, Florida.
I don't know. There's a lot of Native people in Florida.
There is. I'm not saying, but just, you never know. So he's...
Her middle name could be Running Wolf. We don't know.
We don't know shit about her. Maybe it's Gatorwolf. Maybe that's where that came from. Lois Gatorwolf Bryan.
And then Jacksonville.
And then the young Steven was like, this is the only way to go. I've drawn pictures of it my whole life. Now I can be it.
Right.
They got married on September 5th, 1944. That's when they started pumping out all these kids. They moved apparently to Arizona, to Mesa, Arizona specifically, and where there's an LDS temple there. And as we know, there is a lot of Mormons in Mesa.
Boy, is it populated.
Boy, there's a few of them out there. And that's where they joined that temple. And then they ended up going back to Florida, and they lived in Florida until 1974 when everybody moved to Utah at that point. So by 74, Steve was 17 years old. And he moved with his family out to Utah, and they all lived in Taylorsville. And, apparently it was a lot of hunting and fishing, and Steve likes to hunt and fish with his dad, and,
James, I'm starting to believe every fucking word this guy says.
Yeah, it sounds all legit.
It checks out.
See, this is the thing, though. The BYU to play football, BYU is not it's not a community college. So, their football teams, they're pretty documented. It's, what I'm saying? Yeah. If I'm going through rosters and I can't find him, I mean, He might have played, to his credit, he might have played on like the freshman team. And so he technically played football for BYU. He didn't say I was a varsity star. I was a Heisman candidate. I don't know.
Did you check their soccer program? Perhaps he uses football in that sense.
You know what? Maybe he's a very European guy. That's a possibility.
He's very well traveled. Who knows?
Steve Gatorwolf is a very cultured man.
Starting forward.
So that's all I could find. The first real documentation of him that I could find is an article from July 7th, 1976 in a small newspaper in Utah, and the title is Man Arraigned. So I found that. It's not good. No, that's a bad one.
It's a bad way to make your debut in the paper.
Here he is, everybody. Introducing Man, who's been arraigned.
We will not even lead with his name.
Nope, just Man arraigned. You don't even know who he is. Don't worry about it. This guy, some dude. It's fine.
Damn it.
He's arraigned. We got it taken care of. Don't worry about it. He's an asshole, but we got him.
What was he arraigned on?
Oh, let's see. Stephen Nathaniel Ketcher, 57 East 400 North, number 9 in Provo.
The address and everything.
Back then, everybody had their address in the paper. Yeah. When there'd be a car crash, and they'll be like, waiting on the corner and witnessing the crash was Bob Johnston of 1224 East 74th Street, apartment 12. And you're like, why would you put that in there? Why is that important? Why would he going to go to his house? Hey, Bob, was that really what you saw? I saw you on the news. I think you're full of shit, Bob. Just trying to say.
And they did that under the guise of thorough journalism. Yeah. Now it's called doxing.
Yeah. Back then it was like, this person really exists. I didn't make them up for the story. That's why they would put it in there. So you could it could be cross-referenced. But then it was like, we believe that they exist. Stop giving out everyone's address. People are crazy. The 76 too. This is before there was. I don't know. I feel like we've had a different.
Yeah. Did the mob change that? Is that what that is?
I mean,
do you know what I mean? Like,
I would think. Yeah, witnessing the mob boss be shot down in the street was
Fred Taylor of 12 Marketplace,
apartment 12.
Don't tell him, Jesus.
His children go to Central High School and. His wife drives a pink station wagon. It's going to be great.
And then tomorrow's newspaper, family murdered, no witnesses.
Family slain in 4 different locations, all given out previously by the newspaper.
Witnesses will be in court, not giving any sort of interview at this moment.
Fuck. So he's been arraigned in Provo City Court on a charge of theft. He was referred to a public defender, and he's released on his own recognizance. So I don't know. He's 18 years old at that point. He hadn't turned 19 yet that year. So he's 18 years old, gets busted for theft. So that could be anything. That could be kids. Maybe it's a fraternity prank for this BYU football team that he's joining.
Who knows? Maybe his family sent him out fishing, and he was just fishing in a hatchery. That's stealing fish.
You never know.
He didn't know. He had no idea.
He does not know. No, but June 28th, 1977, when he's 19 years old, he decides time to lock it down. Time to get married here. Yeah. So he marries Virginia Boyd, who is 21 years old, of Salt Lake City. And this is not only in 1977 more common for young people to get married, but young Mormon people in Utah. 21's an old fucking maid by, you're pushing it at that point. Like, sweetheart, you got to, how are you going to pump out a dozen kids if you don't get started soon? It was wild, man.
Real quickly, just to tell you a quick story, James, my uncle did that where he went a back way through the woods and found this pond and was fishing all day, just yanking fish out. Then he came back to the house and he was like, just yanking, throwing a reel in, pulling the fish out. He came back to the house with like 30 fish.
This is the greatest
spot Where'd you get all that? And he goes, I'll show you a pond. So then he takes us through the roads down the front way, and there's just sign after sign pointing the way to the hatchery. And he's like, oh my God. I don't think we're supposed to fish here. Let's get out of here and just go back home and have a fish fry and forget this ever happened.
That is hilarious. Man, this spot's it's hot.
It's a hot spot.
Hot.
Nobody has a clue about it. There's nobody here.
It's awesome. I found my own. That's why there's so many fish. Nobody's fishing. They're just we got to get the fish out of there. There's not going to be any room for them in there. They're bumping into each other.
It's overpopulated. There's so many.
Really, we're doing them a favor. That's fucking
my favorite
amazing.
story of my dumbass uncle.
It's like going to someone's refrigerator and being like, I found this amazing roast beef. I was amazing.
You are not going to believe how much beer is in this fridge over here.
There's this spot with free beer, and there's like fucking lunch meat in there and shit. It's great. I found olives. I love green olives. This is fantastic.
Discovered it.
Those little cherries, those are fucking good. Discovered it.
Incredible.
So, Jesus Christ. Anyway, Steve here, now he's a married man. Mm-hmm. He's a married man, upstanding married man. Yeah. And he's married Virginia Boyd, like I said. So Ginny is what she goes by.
Sure.
Goes by Ginny. Now, 1982 comes around. So a few years go by. Not sure what he's doing in this time period. I assume training to wrestle at some point, because in 1982, he just pops up a wrestler.
Wow.
And right away, he is Steve fucking Gatorwolf right off the bat.
Right out of the gate.
Right out of the chute. Steve Gatorwolf. Here I am. Yeah, that's my name. He starts off in the AWA, which is the most fascinating wrestling group of all
Who
time.
ran that one?
Vern Gagne. That's the Vern Gagne one, the guy who killed the Holocaust survivor when he had dementia when he's 93 or whatever.
Jesus, Vern.
Yeah, Vern had it rough. So I want to do a bonus episode one of these days, but it's one of these bonus episodes where I think no one, unless you're a wrestling fan, you won't know what the hell I'm going to talk about, but it'll be so entertaining for anybody no matter what. I want to talk
just
about
defining all the regions?
No. I want to talk about how Vince McMahon took this special target on Vern Gagne and just drove him out of business. I mean, just really, he was like, I'm going to fuck him. That's the guy. It was awesome. He had like a vendetta against Vern Gagne, so I'd love to.
If Vince had a bone of humility in his fucking body, he could make a killing on a podcast just talking about all his missteps and how much he's fucked up. Meanwhile, he's somehow insanely rich.
Absolutely.
If he just, you know what I mean? If he could just swallow his pride for a minute and just admit he's a fucking dildo.
Instead, there's a million people who worked for him that do that. That's how they make, that's Bruce Pritchard's whole podcast is him defending Vince McMahon decisions. Yeah.
Just talking about how dumb he is.
It's true. He really could. It's because there's a lot of dumb shit. He could do a whole series, like a season, just on like the gobbledygooker. What the fuck happened, Vince? Why'd you think something coming out of a big egg was a good idea on pay-per-view? What's your problem, dude? Shit like that.
He could ruin all of our bonus material.
Yeah, he really could. It'd be all gone. Who he said, Mantar. There we go. Yeah, look at him. We're going to put a big bison head on him and have him come to the ring. Yeah.
I want a chicken with a mohawk. Let's run it.
So I found a card that he's involved in for AWA on April 8th, 1982 in Salt Lake City. And AWA spread out from Minnesota, and they had possession of all the western cities, pretty much. That were their cities to run in their territory. So they're based in Minnesota, but they took all the kind of shit nobody else wanted, and they had like Winnipeg, Salt Lake City, Denver, Phoenix, San Francisco, San Jose, kind of that north.
Nobody wanted that? That sounds amazing.
It's hard. The problem is for wrestling companies, it's hard to have territories there because there's no population centers that are within driving distance. Makes sense. To do a show in Denver and then have everybody go to Salt Lake City, that's a
hell of a ride.
Yeah, you can't really do that. Where Vern Gagne had his own shitty private planes, so he would fly his wrestlers to these shows. So that's why he could do Vegas and Salt Lake and Denver and San Francisco and Winnipeg and then go home. That was that's how they did it.
It's a wonder he didn't kill anybody like the Big Bopper. You know what I mean?
So many of those planes crashed. Ric Flair almost died in the plane crash. He had
shit.
Yeah, he had a broken back. I mean, his career was over when he crashed. There's that story. Yeah, it's a plane crash. He tells it very in detail. The goddamn plane, they had all these shitty little private planes, and it fucking crashed. And one guy died, I think, in the crash. Another guy broke his neck. Johnny Valentine had a broken neck, too. Greg the Hammer's dad. Yeah. Ric Flair's story about Valentine is hilarious because he apparently was in the front of the plane and got like kind of trapped in his seat the way the plane crashed, and he couldn't fucking get out. And you've seen Greg the Hammer Valentine, stocky guy. His dad's stockier. So rather than wait for help or anything, he just burst through the top of the plane. He just punched his way through. the top of a plane
Hulk
and
smashed it.
and popped his head out. I'm here with a broken neck, mind you. Yeah, so plane crashes like that happen all the fucking time. Car crashes. There's so many guys that got killed in car accidents back in the day, these wrestlers.
Sure. They're drunk as shit and driving.
Yeah, they're driving middle of the night from town to town with a case of beer in the car, and, deer runs out, an accident happens, they fall asleep, shittier cars with less safety features back then, and crappier roads. So this particular card has a lot of big guys in it, actually. Jerry Blackwell and Brad Rangans, Greg Gagne. Oh, Jesus. Vern's son, who just is the worst physique in the history of wrestling. He just looks like a skinny guy. He looks like someone's skinny dad who just took his shirt off and he's like, let's go, pal. You're like, what are you doing? Put your shirt on.
I love that.
Jim Brunzell, Jumpin' Jim, who's a killer bee later on, and Ken Patera, who we've done a bonus episode on there, that they fought. Bobby Heenan and Bobby Duncombe. Okay, now Bobby Heenan's a manager, managing Bobby Duncombe, and they're tag teaming together against Buck Rock and Roll Zumhoff.
Oh, that bastard.
The winner of I believe that the first annual Scumbag of the Year award, actually the scummiest man ever, and his tag team partner, Hulk Hogan.
Oh, Hulk. You had no idea how bad that man was.
No. Hey, buddy, let's go out and do this, brother. Okay, yeah, there we go. Hey, try not to touch any kids on the way out, will you, brother?
Yeah, excuse me while I kiss my daughter on the mouth for good luck.
Well, I kiss my daughter and tell her not to go out with black people and call them the N-word. All right, you don't touch any kids. Let's get it on.
Who's the worst father?
That's right. Buck is definitely a worse father.
Absolutely.
And then...
But it is fun to ask who's the worst father.
Yeah, it is, because you have to think about it for a second.
Yeah.
That's the sad part. And finally, this tells you kind of how small of a card it was. And the main event of the evening is a 14-man battle royal, which is just, we have 14 people here is what we have. That's as many as we have.
Why'd you have 14? Because we didn't have 15?
We had 14. Isn't it usually 20? We didn't have 20. We had 14.
We had 14.
We had 14. It was Baron von Raschke, Bobby Duncombe, Bobby Heenan, Brad Rangans, Buck Zumhoff, Greg Gagne, the Iron Duke, Jerry Blackwell, Jim Brunzell, Ken Patera, Sergeant Jacques Goulet. I wonder if that's Rene Goulet, possibly, but he always worked for WWF, so I don't know. And Sheik Adnan El Casey, and, of course, Steve Gatorwolf. And this is won by Hulk Hogan, this one. Okay. So he's in the ring with Hulk Hogan there, so that's good for him.
That's pretty impressive.
That's pre-WWF Hulk Hogan, but he's on the upswing.
And how old was he there? 19?
Here he is, 20, 24?
Okay.
24, 25. He is going in a full-blown American Indian gimmick. That's his gimmick, there was a bunch of those back then, you have to mind you. Now, Chief Jay Strongbow was one of the most popular guys in the Northeast, doing the whole full headdress, fringes hanging off the boots. Yep. Chief Jay Strongbow, who's actually an Italian man named Jack Scarpa, or John Scarpa. Scarpa's his last name, which is, he's an Italian guy from Philly.
Certainly not
and they're like,
Native American.
No.
Man.
Back then, though, a lot of Italians would play that. The guy crying on the fucking commercial.
Right.
And he's an Italian guy. That's what we used to do. Like, there's already Italian actors. He's kind of dark and has a big nose. Throw him out there. Make him, there you go.
That's pretty awesome.
You put a headdress on him, who can tell the difference? So,
at least this guy is at least half native.
At least half. So he's going with that full headdress, and also the Wahoo McDaniel at this time, who Wahoo McDaniel is a real full-blooded Native American. He played for the Jets in the NFL, and he's a stud, Wahoo, man. But he's going as that kind of next generation guy. So that same year, a couple months later, he has a son. A son is born, damn it.
Oh, boy.
Logan, not... Okay. Logan, that's good. Not Stephen Nathaniel Jr. So that's a helpful.
And what year is that?
That's 82, May of 1982. His son was born.
Not a lot of Logans back then. He was really ahead of his time with the douche meter.
Yeah, that is. That's a real popular one now. Yeah. It's but I wonder if that's something to do with, I don't know, in the Mormon religion, if Logan is a popular name or not.
I would not be surprised.
That's a possible That's possible. We know very little about Mormonism.
Yeah. They love soft vowel names. That's a big deal for them.
They're into that, yeah.
Soft vowels.
They like that. Not too threatening. When you come to the door, you don't want to be too threatening. These people have to know you mean peace.
Right.
You come
long
in peace.
O's. Lots of long O's.
Long O's and just
Colton, some shit like that.
Yeah, very something to lull them into wanting to hear more about having their own planet someday.
Lull them into a tithe.
Yeah, lull them into a nice tithe. That's what we're trying to do. Lull them into a tithe.
That is incredible.
That's hilarious. So in 1983, Jimmy, his big break, not in wrestling, but in Hollywood, comes knocking on the door.
What?
A knock, knock, knock. In 1983, he's in a movie called Revenge of the Ninja.
Okay.
Which sounds so generic. I looked it up on IMDb to be like, how many Revenge of the Ninjas are there? Several is the answer to that.
They just made one last year during COVID.
Well, they made one in 84. The next year, just another Revenge of the Ninja, completely different thing, different story, company, the whole deal.
Not even a sequel, the original.
There's cartoons, there's shorts, there's a lot of Revenge of the Ninja. That's a very common thing.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you. The people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a micro-city built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
This particular Revenge of the Ninja is directed by Sam Furstenberg, who sounds like your foremost expert on, Asian culture and martial arts, I would assume. Sam Furstenberg. Yeah, he took a couple of lessons in Orange County, a couple karate lessons in the early 70s out in Orange County in a strip mall, and he's like, I'm going to direct this. Writers, oh my God. Manam go, it's a Golan. But this fucking movie, I just realized this. It's written by a guy named James R. Silk. That doesn't matter. That's a screenplay based on an idea by Menachem Golan, Golan, who is a famously terrible guy he makes awful shit.
Terrible guy, terrible product that he produces.
Yeah, he might be a terrible guy. I don't remember, but I know at least his product is terrible. He's the guy, if I'm not mistaken, who hounded Sylvester Stallone for 2 years to do Over the Top and just kept offering him more money till he finally got up to $20 million. And Stallone said, fuck it, I don't care. I'll do it. Whatever. $20 million. He's the first $20 million guy.
$20 million for that?
That's the first $20 million job for an actor was Sylvester Stallone in Over the Top.
Oh, my God.
Which was like an indie film, essentially, because this guy made these. There's a whole documentary about the Golan, the whole thing. It's on. It was on Netflix or Prime or something. A whole documentary about his shit empire of bad films. I
am fascinated already.
I think they made Superman 4, the real bad, The Quest for Peace, the bad one. They made a bunch of bad shit. And Over the Top was like this is the one. and it was based on this guy's idea. And Stallone's like, I got to arm wrestle for my son? Like, what the fuck?
While I drive a tractor trailer.
But it was
it's going to be Jimmy Whisman's favorite movie at 9 years old.
Oh, God. When we were in elementary school, kids were just, rip your shitting arm off. Put it up on the table. The cafeteria.
Throw your head on backwards, you mean business.
The elementary school cafeteria in 1987 was just an arm wrestling factory. That's all it was. It was just little kids arm wrestling each other. I'm not even kidding. I wish I was.
Great. I really loved it.
No,
I've seen it since. It's a piece of shit.
Oh, it's terrible. I've watched it.
It's so bad.
I'll watch it with Sarah like every once in a while because it's amazing. It's just the best movie. It's so bad.
I can't believe that had a trailer, for fuck's sake, in movie theaters. That's amazing.
They put money into this, and the only people that saw it were 8-year-olds. Like you kid, us, basically, were the only people who saw the movie.
Such a bad movie.
Bad stuff.
And it resonated with me. It resonated with me because I was like, I'd love to. What if my dad's that guy?
Yeah, you never know.
Him.
He could just pop up in a big rig, taking you to Vegas for the big arm wrestling tournament.
Teach me how to drive a Freightliner. Let's go, Pop.
What a dream. Oh, we could drive the Brute right to the right to the Walmart, right up to the back gate. Just a whole truckload of Brute because that's what they were carrying all the time across the country.
To me, that piece of shit movie was a fantasy. It was great.
Well, plus he was a rich kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid
ripped that kid out of a fantasy life and threw him into this just truck stop, gross, grimy shit, and the kid loved it.
He just gave away a Marty McFly Toyota, just handed it over at the airport. He didn't give a fuck. His mom had just a vague cancer of some kind and just kind of straight sort of drops dead in the whole procedure. What a weird thing. What a weird...
Fascinating movie.
I love Robert Loggia in that too. God damn it. God damn it, Hawks. So the plot of this movie, after ninjas killed his family, as they want to do it from time to time, it happens. Cho and his son Kane come to America to start a new life. He opens a doll shop. What the? Is this Mad Libs? What the fuck are we doing? After ninjas killed his family, Cho and his son Kane come to America, and he opens up a doll shop. Why not? But is unwittingly importing heroin in the dolls. So the dolls he's importing are apparently trafficking ploys, and they're going to him, and now, okay. When his friend betrays him, Cho must prepare for the ultimate battle. You think he would have prepared for the ultimate battle when ninjas killed his family? That would have been where he draws the line, not when his friend betrays him about heroin dolls. What a shit plot. I've had it now. Kill my wife, slay my children in their beds while they sleep. That's fine. I'll just move to another country to start a new life. But fuck with me over some dolls, pal. It's go time.
I thought that they were trying to drag me into this war by killing my family, but now that they've put heroin inside my dolls, now I know for sure.
It's over now, motherfucker. Now they got it in for me. I figured it out.
Yeah, now I get it. Yeah.
I realize we're talking about a lot of off the rails things, and I don't fucking care. This is fun, and we're having a good time. We'll get back to...
They should have known when they wrote this piece of shit that we were going to make fun of it.
It's going to get made fun of big time.
In 30 years, these two guys are going to get a hold of this.
Someone should.
Yeah.
Gatorwolf plays, quote, Big Thug. I don't know if that's his name or just his description, but he's a big thug. And there you go. His big screen debut. Later on, when I find like advertisements for shitty small wrestling shows he's a part of, they'll say that he was in the Chuck Norris movie Revenge of the Ninja. Chuck Norris is not in this movie. He has nothing
to do with this.
He's not a producer that I found.
Blame Chuck on this.
He didn't write it. Chuck didn't do like a quick edit. He didn't polish up the script. Chuck did nothing. Don't blame Chuck. So 1984 in June, I found... I'll show you I'll turn you want to roll your chair over a little bit. I'll show you the advertisement in the newspaper. Pro Wrestling returns this Saturday night to the multi.
Is that him right there?
That's him down here. See his whole headdress. He's got like the chops going. He's the Rocky Mountain heavyweight champion at this point in time.
Oh.
There he is. It's at the multi-purpose center. That's tag team action. Steve Gatorwolf and Mr. R. I don't know if that versus the Ranger and Mr. Destruction. And we'll talk a lot about Mr. Destruction. It's hair versus mask. If Gatorwolf and Mr. R win, Mr. Destruction must unmask. If the Ranger and Mr. Destruction win, Gatorwolf loses his hair. Not his hair, Jimmy. That's his source of power.
But James, what does it say right there?
Where? Which one? Oh,
5 big bouts.
5 big bouts, including, all bold letters, the midget wrestlers.
They don't even get names.
No. There's one match they're advertising, and that's it. You can pick advance tickets up at Bottle Hollow. I don't know what the fuck that is. $5 are tickets for this, so it's a bargain. It'll be fun, I'm sure. You have a good time with the kids for $5. Can't beat that.
That's a smoking deal.
It's a smoking deal.
The guy's going to unmask for $5. Let's do it.
That's not bad. I found an article a couple weeks later on from the Sun Advocate newspaper in Price, Utah, all about the big show coming to town now. Okay, professional wrestling, and this is a quote from the article, professional wrestling and all the associated bragging and camp have returned to Price after a 20-year absence. So this is like a small promotion that's going to these small towns and filling a gap, basically. There's been nobody services these areas.
Genius.
So on posters and Price, a $5,000 challenge. By the way, you could run these shows for 6 months and you won't make $5,000. So that's a $5,000 challenge is advertised to anyone who can body slam Mr. Destruction. The poster reads in part, "Come on, all you coal miners. Let's see how strong you think you are if you dare." So
if you can body slam him, you get $5,000. What does that mean?
If you can body
he's there, he will never allow it.
He's a big fat motherfucker. He's huge and fat, and he's saying no one can body slam me. The wrestlers can't do it. I'll even open it up to It's an old time carny trick that they used to have. Yeah. They used to have guys that would take on all comers back in like the 30s, and that was the thing. You'd have a guy wrestle a match, and he'd beat a guy, and then he would take on all comers, and it would be some fat fucking farmer in overalls would step out. I'll fucking take you on, and he'd have to pop the guy's fucking eyeball out or something to not lose. That's why the wrestlers back in the day were real nasty fighters, because they would have to know how to actually win a fight. Not in a way that's, like a moral victory. If this big fucking farmer's attacking me and I'm going to lose all my credibility here in the ring, I better pop his eyeball out so he runs away screaming. That's how it works. So he says, Mr. Destruction, let all them wimps try. No one can do it. Quoting the 6'8", 450-pound masked giant. Wow! I guarantee you, he's probably 6'4" and
380.
Yeah, because even the WWF then would inflate people's size.
Yeah,
they used to say Hulk Hogan was 6'10".
500-pound. Yeah,
he's not 6. Show was 500. Easy.
Was he 500?
Fuck yeah! Look at his ankles; they were the size of your thighs.
He was.
He's a big.
How tall was he? 6'8"?
No. He was a legit. He had to get surgery to stop growing. He was a legit 7'2" or whatever. He had the same. He had the same thing Andre had, Andre the Giant, where he just kept growing and growing and growing, and including his organs, and that's why Andre died of an enlarged heart. His heart kept growing. Yeah. So he had a surgery though. Andre didn't want the surgery, and it was not that. The surgery wasn't as routine, kind of. I don't think it's a routine anyway, but it was a little bit more risky back in the day, and Andre just said he didn't want it. And just kept growing, whereas Big Show had it done, so that's why he's still alive, and can still move around and shit because his organs aren't exploding.
Do they
it's a gland thing.
Your pituitary gland.
Yeah,
down or
it's a
shit?
gland thing. They have to do something to do with overactive shit. Yeah. I don't know obviously that much about it, but it's
the phrase "it's glandular" is like a common trope. That's a joke. Now,
yeah, haha.
It's a legit thing for him.
Yeah, they keep growing. They never stop growing, and including their organs. That's why all their organs get too big, and that's what happens. That's how guys like that die. So, they're saying tickets for this particular show and price at the National Guard Armory are $4, which is really cheap. They're saying Steve Gatorwolf, the 6'4", 300-pound Indian from Oklahoma, who's a former Brigham Young University football player, and is being promoted. He's not 6'4" either. He's like 6, maybe 1, maybe. I'm talking maybe 6'1", probably 6 foot.
and Brigham Young didn't talk about him ever. So
no, so lies and
maybe
lies.
it just wasn't that good.
The only part of that that's not a lie is probably 300 pounds in Indian, I think, are the only two truths there.
His
and
name's not even real.
No. This is, well, it gets worse here. The 6'4", 300-pound Indian from Oklahoma, who's a former, he's not from Oklahoma either, by the way. That's the other thing. In the WWF, they announce him or introduce him as from Pawhuska, Oklahoma, which is where they had Chief Jay Strongbow from. They're just like, anyone who's Indian comes from Pawhuska, Oklahoma. So he's a former Brigham Young University football player and is being promoted as the former Rocky Mountain champion and one of the stars in the Chuck Norris movie Revenge of the Ninja. No, not Chuck Norris, and he played Big Thug, which I would assume is not a starring role.
Is the person that wrote this like the person that writes the news now?
I don't know.
Everything's
what the
just
fuck.
like a little bit off of the truth.
So almost like, there.
He's
it's close.
from somewhere, not there.
Yeah. It's close. This is just like back in the day, if you had friendly newspapers that would want to help the event, they would just write whatever the fuck you wanted. That's all. Wait till you hear the things he says later in the papers. It's hilarious. Gatorwolf will fight in the feature attraction in the Indian death match against the Ranger, who's an inch taller, but Gatorwolf is an inch taller than Gatorwolf, but 40 pounds lighter. The Ranger is a former martial arts instructor for the Special Forces, who Gatorwolf said was discharged due to reports of unnecessary roughness. They're like setting up a whole backstory in the newspaper. This is crazy. Gatorwolf quoted Ranger as saying, so this is Gatorwolf quoted, wow, because he's the promoter here, I think. He's helping promote it. I'm too rough for wrestling too, and Gatorwolf knows it. I'm the champion now, and I should wrestle Hulk Hogan, not that half-breed Indian.
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ. I'll prove it again to the people after I destroy him Saturday night. So he thinks he should be beating Hulk Hogan rather than fighting a quote-unquote half-breed Indian.
It's a fascinating choice of words.
Wow. Now, Gatorwolf said the only reason he's not champ is because of an interference in one of his matches. He's very upset about it. A lot of storylines going on.
Okay.
He said, quote, Mr. Destruction interfered with the match that cost me my title. Now I'm getting a chance to get it back in my type of match, the Indian death match, which I'm undefeated in.
Oh, okay.
Undefeated. No disqualifications, no time limit, no stopping for blood. It's a death match, damn it.
Yeah.
To the death, or 15 minutes.
To the supposed death?
Or when they agreed with the venue when they'd be out of there by one or the other.
Yeah. It's hard to wrestle again tomorrow night in, I don't know, Tecumseh, if or wherever the fuck we're going.
If everyone's half the roster's dead.
Yeah.
Winners against winners now.
Yeah. We
now,
got fighting Gallup tomorrow.
That's fucking amazing. Gatorwolf, after he wins this match and wins back his title, by the way, there's an article in this newspaper that says he says that he wrestled Hulk Hogan to a 1 hour time limit draw, which Hulk Hogan has never wrestled a 1 hour time limit draw in his fucking life. The whole point of Ric Flair wrestled 1 hour draws. Ricky Steamboat did 1 hour draws. Terry Funk and the Briscoes did 1 hour fucking Broadways. Hulk Hogan's not in a 1 hour match ever. It's never happened.
That is so long.
They would do it because the guys would know how to pace themselves, and they could make it exciting to have a draw. And they did. They back in the day, that's how they, not hurt people. Because they would come back in the day it was territory, so the NWA champion would come to this territory, and their big guy in that territory would fight him. Well, he can't just beat the shit out of that guy and ruin him in his own territory. Yeah. So they'd have an hour-long match where it looked like the local guy was going to win the whole thing, and then, it's a draw, and then the champ goes on to the next town. That's how they did it. So he's saying that happened. He said now that he won this Rocky Mountain title back, he said that he's, quote, in line for a title shot against Hulk Hogan, who he considers a good friend, by the way, as well. Right. Obviously, we're tight. The rich guy who wrestles in New York and me who's in a fucking Price, Utah.
Multicultural center or whatever. Multi-purpose room.
Daring coal miners to slam a fat man for $5,000. Like
cafeteria / meeting room / wrestle room.
Not coal miners. What are they mining in Utah? Quartzite? I don't fucking know.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's coal up there.
Is there coal? Right? I have no idea. It beats the shit out of me.
Be.
I don't know. All we do know is there's no oil in Florida. That's what we have found. Other than that, we're not positive of anything. He considers Hulk Hogan to be a good friend, and he says that he's ready to fight. He's acting like there's an imminent title match with Hulk Hogan that he's going to have, okay? He says, quote, "I hope he remains my friend after the match. There is no match scheduled. Because I'm going to do everything in my power to dethrone him. He's a very large man and an extremely powerful one, but I believe with my strength and speed and wrestling ability, he will have his hands full. I've got to get by the Ranger first and get my title back. So once I beat the Ranger, some no-name guy, then I got a match all lined up with Hulk Hogan because that 1 hour draw, I almost had him in about 52 minutes, but he got by me, slipped by me." Right. Wow.
Joe Frazier didn't shit talk Muhammad Ali on his way to whatever fight he had to get to do to get to Muhammad Ali. You're not you shit talking that guy.
And Joe Frazier had a legitimate shot to fight Muhammad Ali.
Right.
This would be like
a good point.
If you had like 3 bouts in South Phoenix somewhere, and then we'll be like, I'm going to fight. Yeah.
But when I do,
I'm ready for the title fight. We're good friends, and I hope we remain that way afterwards. But I think I have what it takes to beat him. I took him to a 12-round draw earlier. It was a totally, even on the scorecards. Yeah. As an added attraction to this, the famous midget wrestlers will make their appearance in the ring. Among them will be Little Brutus from Chicago and Adam Ant. Adam, like an atom, a little atom. Adam Ant. That's clever as fuck. He's like a little punk rocker. ATOM. He's a little punk rocker. That's fucking awesome. From Las Vegas. Both weigh in at less than 125 pounds. So there you go. Now, July.
Listen, it's so funny, but I love it. I love it.
That's what I mean. If you're not interested in this and you're like, where's all the crime? There's going to be so much terrible crime later. Just trust me on that. But this is fun, and this is a comedy thing, and we're doing this for comedy. And if you're like, I want to hear a list of this and that, then there's 278 other episodes. Enjoy. We're having a good time. You don't want to be a part of it. That's up to you. Come back next week for, whatever. But right now, we're doing this because it's fucking fun. Here's July 6th of 84. Here's Mr. Destruction. Look at him. Oh. The guy in the mask is Mr. Destruction here.
Real nondescript. It's
very
boring,
nondescript. And I can't even tell who the fuck it is. And I looked these guys up. Most of these guys are, I don't know who they are. They're like came and gone, just indie wrestlers. They have no
just a flash in the pan.
Can't even find anything about them. So a crowd. This is a wrap up about the show that happened in Bryce, Utah. This paper. I hope they were getting a cut of this shit because wow. Saturday night, several cars arrived in Price carrying 1.5 tons of professional wrestlers who drove to the National Guard Armory to twist legs, thump each other on the head, and throw each other out of the ring. Oh, boy.
That's so well written.
He's really trying to flower this bitch up, isn't he?
1.5 tons of wrestlers.
1.5 tons of wrestlers, which seems like there'd be more weight to them if there's a whole card. But
3,000 pounds of wrestler?
Yeah, I guess 3,000 pounds. That's 10 300-pounders.
That's a lot of dude.
That's a lot of dude. Can't even have a 14-man battle royal with that, though. What are you going to do?
Cannot.
A crowd of 825 people showed up to watch them. Wow. Okay. One of the wrestlers, Steve Gatorwolf, said they were very surprised at the overwhelming turnout and response by the crowd. Overwhelming at 800. We draw better than that. We have shows with more people than that. But the size of the crowd was not the only surprise. The fans seemed like a normal crowd at first, but as the matches continued, many people became increasingly serious about the business at hand.
Uh-oh.
These people really are hurting for entertainment. Price City Police Lieutenant Alex Shelios said 4 people had to be kicked out of the armory before the matches even started. They were
holy shit,
chomping at the bit to get there. During some of the last matches, several 10 and 12-year-olds could not contain themselves and getting too close from the ring. But the kids were not the only enthusiastic people in the crowd. Local miners and others were challenged before the matches to body slam Mr. Destruction for $5,000. Another man was calling on Destruction in his dressing room before the matches and said he would knock him out by using his jiu-jitsu, which I don't know how you would knock. That's a grapple. I don't know. The man voiced his threats to police, reporters, and others. But by the time Destruction was waiting for takers in the ring, the man's wife had canceled his plans to knock Destruction out. This guy went in the dressing room talking shit, knocking on the door, wanting to beat this guy up. Some fucking minor.
Random guy.
The cops had to pull him away, and then his wife talked him down, and they never mind.
And then they threw 12-year-olds and 10-year-olds out for being too close to the ring.
Too close to the ring, you little bastards.
Fuck out of here.
He also, though, in 84, makes his WWF debut.
Fantastic.
Obviously WWE now. From what I find, the first one here seems to be at Salt Lake City again. So remember I said they bring in local guys to wherever they are. He's a local Utah guy, so you don't have to fly him in. So he gets the shit beaten out of him by Big John Studd, who, I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a huge 6'9", 380-pound giant fucking man that Andre the Giant used to fight with all the time. So
John Studd?
Big John Studd. He had white pants with stars on them. He had long ones with red boots, long blonde hair, his head was the size of your torso, in width. It's just enormous.
It's not the original Hacksaw Jim Duggan?
No.
He didn't carry a 2x4 around?
He did not, no.
He should have.
Big John Studd, and Bobby the Brain was his manager in WWF. He was badass. So also that night, there's a battle royal, an 18-man battle royal. So at least they're getting closer to 20, where Andre the Giant is the winner.
Fantastic.
Over Adrian Adonis, Big John Studd, Dick Murdoch, Ivan Putski, Jerry Valiant, Jesse the Body Ventura, Mad Dog Vachon, Neil Mascaris, Moondog Rex, Moondog Spot, Rocky Johnson, that's The Rock's dad, and S.D. Jones, Salvatore Balomo, Steve Gatorwolf, Tiger Chung Lee, and Tito Santana. So
that's a great lineup.
That's a lot of guys.
Moondog was a flyer, right?
No. The Moondogs were they were a tag team of, there were several different incarnations of them, but they were like these gross guys, and they would carry around big dog bones. They were just kind of these fat guys that wore cut off jeans.
Who am I thinking of that does moonsaults?
Everybody now.
Was there a dog that did that?
British Bulldogs, Dynamite Kid. Dynamite
That's
Kid
probably
was athletic as fuck. He did crazy shit, and this is around the time he came in, too. Next, they're in Phoenix.
Hell
Jimmy,
yeah.
where were you there? The July 29th, 1984, when they were at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, of course.
They're playing there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Suns Arena.
Where he's beaten by Steve Gatorwolf again.
Have you been in that place recently, James?
No, I never was there ever.
Ever?
My first Suns game I ever went to was after my mom moved there. I came out, and that was the first game in America West, which is now
the most
USA or whatever.
Disgusting place on earth now.
You drive by, it looks disgusting.
The inside, they have not washed it.
The shit house on McDowell. Since Tom Chambers was done. Oh my God! Did we both just do? Since Tom Chambers, we both said
they
perfect.
Haven't washed the inside of it since '91, and they have that's where they have the state fairs. They have horses and shit in there every fall. It's just disgusting.
Sweep it to the sides. Put it onto the bleachers.
And then they have Scotty McCreery play there.
Perfect. It's a small town murder reference from a festival that was from last week. It's good shit. Listen to that episode. It's wild. So that night, there's also a battle royal featuring the same people that were in the other battle royal. It's just they're going the same card from city to city. No one in Utah saw Phoenix, so there you go.
That's a big venue.
Yeah, it's big. It's big. Well, that was 84. That's when WWF was expanding huge. Hulk Hogan had come and become champion in, January of 84. So this is when they're blowing up. They have WrestleMania in March of 85. This is when Cyndi Lauper's getting involved, the summer of 84. All the rock and wrestling stuff's going on. They're getting really big at this point. October of 84, he's back for Rocky Mountain Wrestling at the Uintah High School. Uintah, I guess. I don't know what the fuck how you say that.
It's an Indian tribe.
I guess so. This is in
Colorado Springs. It's fucking everywhere.
This is in Vernal, Utah.
Okay.
There he is with his chop.
I don't know. Jesus.
The main event is an elimination match, which makes no sense. An elimination match would be like 3-on-3, like a 6-man tag where if you lose, your whole team doesn't lose, you just leave, and now your team has less people. That's an elimination match. Yeah. This is a one-on-one match, so that's how every one-on-one match is an elimination match. Every single one.
Somebody's got to be tagged out.
Someone's got to lose. Yeah, so... and in this, it says right under his picture, Steve Gatorwolf, star of the movie Revenge of the Ninja, under him.
Damn, I gotta stop it.
Star. 6'4", 285 pounds, from Oklahoma. Not true, not true, not true, and not true. None of that's true. His name is Steve. That's the only true thing in there. $5 for tickets, $3 for students. Not bad. Mm-hmm. And then I found, well, I'm shocked, the sales, Jimmy. This is a quick venture into sales because I found some real weird ones here. This is the Vernal Mine Company Deer Hunter Special, it's called.
Yeah.
Prime rib or shrimp dinner with choice of potato and vegetable for only $6.95. It ends the Deer Hunter Special, and it says ladies only. So does that mean I'm not allowed to eat there, or only ladies can get this special?
Why are we serving shrimp and prime rib for deer hunting?
And then the other thing, why is a place called the Vernal Mine Company a fucking restaurant is another problem I have here. There's a lot of mines there that are actual mines.
None of it lines up.
None of this lines up. And then it must be a thing around this area, the Deer Hunter Special, because check this out. Another place, Deer Hunter Special. This is a completely different place. This is some pizza place. $1 off with coupon, pizza or Italian dishes, salad bar, Greek items, Mexican food, hot or cold sandwiches, and it's pizza, what is that, a barn? Pizza barn.
Yeah.
And their slogan is, a little pizza never hurt anyone.
It's true.
Which is true, but I've had pizza in Utah. It'll hurt you.
It depends on where you have it. It must be just
Deer Hunter Special.
That season?
Yeah, I guess so. Come in.
Specials around deer hunting season.
I guess, man. And then finally, come over for co-ed aerobic fitness some program, dance, what is this? Dance 80s, I think it's Dance 80s. Auditions for new instructors are coming on. So if you happen to be in Utah in 1984, you can do this.
Leggings and a leotard.
You inquire at the workout parlor and you call Terry, which sounds like who you would call to try out to be a aerobics instructor. Terry. And then another one I got to show you here. This is from the paper. Very important. See these kids here?
Yep.
They grew a big pumpkin, Jimmy. So that tells you what kind of newspaper we're talking about. It's bigger than the toddler. It's a very large pumpkin. It's about up to the kid's dick.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big pumpkin. That's up to a 12-year-old's dick right there. That's what it is. The 12-year-old dick height.
Be very confusing when you compliment the stem on that.
It's
nice stem.
Not
pumpkin?
stem. Nope. Pumpkin? Nope. Not even.
Get out of here, Buck.
It's a 223 pound, 7'3" circumference. That's 2.5 feet high pumpkin.
223-inch stem on that.
It's a big old stem. Now, here's some more bullshit from Steve Gatorwolf now. Rocky Mountain Wrestling presents, this is December 84. Now look at, what do you see when you see Rocky Mountain Wrestling, professional wrestling?
All right.
It's a picture of him next to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
But Hulk Hogan's not on this card. It sure looks like he is, doesn't it?
He is certainly pushing his relationship with Hulk.
And it's an AWA picture, and it's clearly one where he said, hey, can I get a picture with you? Hulk has no shirt on. He's like ready for the ring. Steve's in a fucking button down with a jacket on. So
butterfly collar.
Yeah.
That's like when comics put they use venues they've performed at as credits. Where am I going to see this show? Who's on this?
It says under the picture of them together, Steve Gatorwolf, Rocky Mountain champion, star of the movie Revenge of the Ninja.
Yeah.
Then it says Hulk Hogan, world champion, star of the movie Rocky 3. So, okay, but he's not on the fucking card. He's not going to be there. It's just the guy on this card once met Hulk Hogan and took a picture with him. That's literally what they're advertising. It's at Delta High School. The main event's an Indian death match. No time limit, no rules, no stopping for blood. There must be a winner. Winner receives a world title match against Hulk Hogan in a future match.
Some other time, some other place. Not here, not tonight.
Not to mention that Hulk Hogan has nothing to do with these people, and nothing you do here will have anything to do with what Hulk Hogan's doing or what you're doing with Hulk Hogan. That's the other thing.
Remember that asshole that used to be here that would promote comedy shows by saying Charlie Sheen might be there tonight? That's the same thing. What are you doing? Why would you
at least he didn't post a picture of him next to Charlie Sheen saying, because that's what this guy did. He's a horseshit open micer.
Right.
In 1984 on social media somehow.
Who met Hulk Hogan one day.
No shit. So anyway, Steve Gatorwolf's fighting the Warlord.
Okay.
Who looks like the same guy as the Ranger, so I don't know what the hell the difference is.
Probably is.
And also on this card, we continue the $5,000 Mr. Destruction Body Slam Challenge. Says, never been body slammed. Come on, if you IPP workers, if you dare. So he's like challenging a specific company's work, like a union work. Like, come on, you pussy miners.
Hey, Coca-Cola dock workers, come on down.
Jesus Christ. And anyone who can body slam Mr. Destruction, come on, you tough guys, take a chance. Okay, and then special attraction, ladies wrestlers.
Oh, yeah.
Super Sabrina versus Cowgirl Dixie Star. There you go. And it's presented by the Delta High School Letterman's Club. I shit you not. Mr. Destruction continues to challenge local men. He says, quote, let all them wimps and rednecks try. So just trying to piss people off. Now, the main event, Steve Warlord versus the Warlord, or not Steve Warlord, Steve Gatorwolf versus the Warlord. They claim in this newspaper article, quote, the Warlord is a former motorcycle gang leader who has just been released this past May from prison after serving a year for beating up 5 policemen and 10 wrestling fans during a wrestling match in which he was wrestling. They said the word wrestling 3 times in one sentence, which is way too many.
I know what he does.
The Warlord is quoted as saying, quote, I don't care about nobody. I only care about me and me only. I will cripple that half-breed Indian in Gatorwolf, and the only thing he will be able to do will be to sell beads and blankets from his teepee.
My
Jesus
God.
Christ.
You got
Sorry.
Jesus Christ, man. Calm down.
What the fuck is happening?
Only thing he missed was moccasins and smallpox. And
yeah,
why not run the...
I'm going to give him smallpox. I'm going to beat him, and then he's going to be diseased with smallpox when I'm through with him.
Hit a Trail of Tears reference, you fucking jerk.
Just because he got the promoter to get me to sign a contract to face him in this Indian match doesn't make me scared at all. Gatorwolf will be finished after this match, and then I will wrestle that big goof Hulk Hogan for the world title. And he said, they might as well just give me the world belt now. Oh, my. Gatorwolf said this is a type of match that has no rules, no time limit, and no stopping for blood. I've never been beaten in this type of match, and I'm going to make that walking garbage can pay dearly for what he said about my family, my Indian people, and me.
There you go.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
And then they asked him in the paper if wrestling is real or not.
Oh, okay.
And he said, quote, and listen to this answer. This is some good politician ducking and dodging here.
Charlie Cook, yeah.
He said, it's a sport like anything else. Okay, he starts out, it's a sport like anything else. We are the only professional athletes who can say and prove whatever we say. We are all different individuals. Some of us are very colorful, some very rough, and some are very smart. The least criticism we get is from other athletes. The ones who say we aren't real are the 99% of husbands or boyfriends who are jealous of us. Oh. I guess they don't look like their ladies. I guess they don't like their ladies looking at us. I guess they feel their manhood is threatened or something. But they are entitled to their opinions like we are to ours. If it was fake, anybody could do it. But we are not anybody or nobodies. We can prove ourselves. I broke my hip in a wrestling match, and I have numerous scars and other injuries to show that it isn't fake. Okay. Very, very upset there. I mean, how dare you question his deal. Now, WWF at this point takes him in as they're thinking about making him the next Indian character, because Chief Jay Strongbow is old as fuck. He's bald. He looks terrible out there. They got to get him out of the ring. They have to. Yeah. And they want to pass that to the next guy because he was a very popular character. Chief Jay would get in trouble and he'd do like the war dance thing. Yeah. And then the crowd would go crazy. That was his hulking up. So he appears in the, I don't know if you've ever seen this, the Land of 1,000 Dances WWF video.
No.
Na, 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 that shit. Okay.
I get the song, never saw it.
Meatloaf is playing the drums in this video. Look it up, everybody. Yeah. Meatloaf is playing the drums, and he's got a band, and they're on a stage. It's like a video shoot you'd shoot on a big stage, like a concert video.
Right.
And there's
the song from Great Outdoors, that song? At the end?
I think so, yeah, where it's about, dances and all that shit. So they have all of the bad guy wrestlers on like a kid's choir would be like tiered up on like bleachers.
Right.
They have all of the bad guy wrestlers like that. And then on the other side of Meatloaf and his band are all of the good guy wrestlers.
Okay.
And they're all dancing to this song and then singing parts of it, like a word or two here and there. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's
amazing. No, it's the whole band. There's a band singing, but Meatloaf is playing the drums and singing.
He's the star of the show, right?
Yeah, clearly. So I'm talking Bobby Heenan has lines. Vince McMahon has a line. Hey, you're going to do that. Blah, blah. I don't remember what the fuck he says in that.
Are they made up words?
No, they're the fucking words to the song.
They're the words to the song. Oh,
and they're all dancing and smiling. And they keep just showing these big sweeping shots of all the guys. And to see all of these wrestlers in a group is so ridiculous. Like individually, they're ridiculous. But when you put them all together and it's like one guy's got this and he's got a top hat and the other guy's got a fucking feathered headdress and then this guy's all in
they're
yellow.
All dressed in their gimmicks.
They're all dressed in their gimmicks to the nines. Nikolai Volkov has a Russian hat and a USSR sweater, and Sheik's got the keffy on his head and all his shit. It's a fucking...
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And in the back row of the good guys, and this is the other fucked up part, he's on the good guy's side, and I think he switches to the bad guy's side at some point. But Steve Gatorwolf is in this video in the back. He doesn't have any song lyrics, but he's in the back clapping and dancing with his big headdress going back and forth. So every time they do a wide shot, your fucking eyes automatically go to him back there with his headdress. It's amazing. But that's not a jobber thing. There's no other job. SD Jones is there, but he's kind of like a half jobber too. Otherwise, these are all the superstars, quote unquote. So he's in that group of like recognized you work here wrestlers, you know? Yeah. I think they just wanted to have a headdress up there because they needed the whole to fill it in. You gotta Grace? I would we'll see. Hold on. I would fucking play the video and we would laugh at it, but I don't think I can do the song. I think it'll be a copyright thing. Copyright, so I can't do that. But you need to look it up because it's unfucking real. It's wild.
Right after this.
So everyone needs to do that. Then he also appears on the Vince McMahon talk show, Tuesday Night Titans, which was a talk show. He set up like a fucking Tonight Show set where he had a little desk and Lord Alfred Hayes was his he'd sit there with him as like the little British guy would be like his Ed McMahon, and they had a couch and he'd go, our next guest is this guy. And they're all wrestlers. There's no like anybody outside a show. It's all just wrestlers, and they interview them and act like it's a talk show, a late night talk show that only has wrestlers on.
And they do it in their gimmick, obviously. Can't talk to Hulk Hogan about his daughter at home.
No. You do it about that. It's about the gimmick, but it's also like kind of partially like, well, I did that movie last year and that was pretty cool and got to hang out with Sylvester Stallone. Shit like that too, but it was also all within the gimmick. There was no breaking kayfabe with it. But the guys would be in street clothes. Yeah. They'd be like Hulk Hogan would come out with like jeans and cowboy boots and a tank top on and shit like that. So Gatorwolf appears on TNT. So that's how he's like grooming people and preparing them and getting them exposure. So he's on the way. Then he appears also. This is funny. TNT. Yeah. Gatorwolf. That night it was him, tag team champions Brutus Beefcake and Greg Valentine, and awesome. Fuji and Morocco, which is a famous segment. So pretty cool. Also on that night on. Let's see, September 20th, 1985, they had, what is this? You could watch Tennis Virginia Slims of Newport, women's singles and doubles finals from Newport, Rhode Island. So there's that. Either one.
Virginia Slims were sponsoring tennis.
They were, ladies tennis. That's why I said it. I thought it was funny.
And now for Marlboro Swimming.
We're gonna go to the Winston pole vaulting championships now.
That is incredible. The 500-meter camel relay.
No, that's going to happen. The Newport incredible. Sailing Championship also.
That requires your respiratory system, and they're smoking. That's amazing.
A lot of bulls. Then he appears on an episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, which was the once a month it would replace SNL and be a late night prime time or late night network television thing. It was a big fucking deal. They put him out there on the same card. This is Mr. T fighting Cowboy Bob Orton, Hulk Hogan versus Magnificent Morocco. Awesome. This is the lead up to WrestleMania 1. So this is a big deal. We have Valentine and Beefcake versus the British Bulldogs, Adrian Adonis versus the Junkyard Dog, and Steve Gatorwolf versus King Kong Bundy.
Nobody has any questions about this.
It's all good. Also on that night, let's see here, Solid Gold Countdown 85, where host Dionne Warwick looks back at the top hits of 85 with guests Stevie Wonder, Madonna, Whitney Houston, Billy Ocean, the Thompson Twins, Tears for Fears, Tina Turner, the Pointer Sisters, and more, including interviews with Hall & Oates, Sting, Phil Collins, and Kenny Rogers.
How much more do you need?
Or you could watch Steve Gatorwolf get beat up by King Kong Bundy at the same time. Also, the Twilight Zone was on that night. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Come on. Also, Hawaii Five-0 and the Twilight Zone were on at the same time, which I find funny. He gets crushed by Bundy, by the way. But Bundy they were really grooming him to be somebody. Grace. This is Grace here, obviously. Come on.
It's the best it's going to get.
Yes. And it's Grace because Bret Hart tells a story later on. And who knows? Wrestlers have stories and you don't know what's true or what's what's kind of colored by bumps to the head and everything else over the years.
And that's kind of the fun of wrestling, too, is that you don't know what the fuck's real and fake because the sport, you don't know what's real and fake.
Yeah, and when guys tell stories from 35 years ago, you know, I mean, they're accurate a lot of times, but they're colored with their own whatever, and it just happens. Yeah. So Bret Hart tells a story that Vince had big plans for Steve Gatorwolf when he brought him in. So I put him in the video and all that shit. He said that he wanted him to be the next Indian star after Chief Jay because he was young and ready to go. They wanted to have action figures, a marketing plan. He was going to be their fucking Indian. Vince loves having a Native American character. He had Chief Jay, tried with this guy. Then he had Tatanka in the 90s. Yeah. He loves that shit. So
aesthetically, it looks amazing because the garb of Native culture is fucking beautiful.
And it's an automatic good guy. That's the other thing. Indian automatic good guy. Who's been fucked more than this guy? You know what I mean? They come out. He's seriously, and they're like, oh, he's very honorable and blah, blah, blah. And he's you know, the spirit of the great horse shit, whatever bullshit they're saying. And that means he's a good guy. Yeah, look at that. So his first television match, the way Bret Hart tells it, his first match at a television taping, Chief Jay Strongbow, who was a road agent, he's guys kind of telling the guys what to do in the ring, you know, what the finish is going to be or that sort of shit, how long to go, basically. He's also taking, they told him, hey, work with Steve Gatorwolf because he's the next you, so can you help him? He told him the points of the match to do his war dance thing that he does.
Right.
And then he said to end with he's supposed to win the match because this is his introduction. And then he said, end the match with a big war dance after the victory. You have to establish that that's your thing. So then when you're in trouble, you can do it and the crowd knows that you do it and it gets them jacked up.
Okay.
He apparently, he didn't have a good match. When you watch him in the ring, he's not good. He's just not good. He's just not. You can watch.
And sloppy. Yeah.
Look up on YouTube. He's just not smooth. I mean, he doesn't go to the right spots. His footwork's clumsy. He's just a bit clumsy compared to the you know, that top level guy. Sure. So he apparently had just wasn't great. He's trying to do the chop like Flair and those guys do because Wahoo McDaniel made that famous. He had a huge one, and it's just not good. It's, you know, he doesn't have a lot of pop to it.
Slap, yeah.
Not coming off well, and then he wins the match and forgot to do his war dance and just won the match and went back to the back. That was it. That was it.
Yeah.
They literally
blew it.
Yep. They literally gave up on him and he was a jobber after that. He came back and they went, never mind. Doesn't do it. Has no charisma. Can't follow instructions. Match looked like shit. Couldn't even do the war dance. Fuck this guy.
Couldn't even cancel. You won. Celebrate, motherfucker.
Yep. So he joins all the great jobbers in history, and we'll go through them quickly because I am obsessed with this. Some of the guys, and I found some crazy motherfucker compiled win-loss records for these guys over the years, which is awesome. Steve Lombardi, the Brooklyn Brawler, who's been there forever, and everybody would make fun of him saying he went to the Terry Garvin School of Self-Defense, which means Terry Garvin fucked him. That's what that means. So anyway, they would say it on the air. On the air. Him and Lord Alfred Hayes Gorilla would go, he's a graduate of the Terry Garvin School of Self-Defense. Gross. And then Lord Alfred would say, oh, yes, I hear very much. Very strong people come out of that. Very good with a lot of reverses and things from the back. Very good at attacking from the backside. And they're literally telling these fucking jokes on the air.
Ass rape jokes right into the camera.
No one knows what they're saying. Steve Lombardi was 159 wins because they tried to push him a little bit as the Brooklyn Brawler.
Yeah.
1,253 losses.
Holy shit, man.
For an 11% win percentage. Not good. Jose Estrada had 692 losses and 148 wins. Barry Horowitz, who they actually gave a little bit of a push to at one point as he's a nice Jewish boy was his gimmick. Literally. He didn't. In the 80s, he was just a punching bag, though. 87 and 685 for him. Holy shit. Jose Luis Rivera, Steve King, Charlie Fulton, Bob Bradley, Terry Gibbs. Terry Gibbs was one of those guys that was there all the time. He was every week he was one of the guys getting beat. 13, 309, and 11. 4% win percentage for him. Barry O, who is Cowboy Bob Orton's brother, and who also accused multiple people in the WWE of sexual harassment. He's one of the guys.
Really?
Absolutely. We went over that in the Scandal bonus episode that we did a while back. He lost a shitload of matches. Ron Shaw, who was a really big guy, who was like blonde and balding on top and had like short hair, and you were like, oh, if only your head was different, you'd be great. Terrible stuff here. Louis Spicolli, who actually turned into a better guy and then died. Jesus Christ. Who else do we have here? Reno Riggins. Oh my God, I remember him. And then my favorite of all time, Jimmy. This is my favorite. We'll go through a couple more, but my favorite of all time, the guy that I wondered about the most, is a guy named Mario Mancini. Mario Mancini. They have his record as 3-131-2 for a 2% win percentage. Look, can I show you Mario Mancini and you'll understand what I'm talking about?
3-132?
Yeah, 3 wins, 132 losses.
Holy
Not
shit.
good. Can I show you? Here, roll over for a second here. Check.
This fucker.
Look at him.
Oh,
He's
Mario.
just a fat Italian guy. He looks like you'd buy a sandwich from him at a deli.
Yes. Did he eat a meatball sub as he walked down the entrance?
It looks like he's got some sauce on his singlet that he was eating before he came up, but he's just looks like somebody like when I was a kid. That's what Italian dads look like, you know. And he has like the curly Italian hair, and he's got a mustache, and he looks like
poor.
How he's doing?
They let him win 3 times. I thought that was nice of him.
Oh, it used to fascinate me. Like, what does that guy do? He just goes home and has Sunday dinner now, and he's just like, yeah, you know, I got beat up a few times the other day, and. What a fucking fascinating life this man has.
Poor Mario.
Oh, poor Mario Mancini. But he was the one where I was just like, what does he do? He's like a short guy, real pear-shaped, like just fat with like these fat legs, not real athletic. He took a decent beating, but like...
Got some nice hips on him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's got some childbearing hips on him, this guy here. I just don't get it, dude. It was so weird. Who else we got here? Charlie Brown? I don't remember Charlie Brown.
Stop it. Of course he lost a lot.
Remember Charlie Fulton. I don't remember Charlie Brown here. Who else we got? Jimmy Jack Funk. Jimmy Jack Funk's another guy like Gatorwolf, who they brought him in with intentions to do something with him, and he was just too terrible, so he was a jobber. They brought him in as one of the Funk cousins. Like they had Terry Funk, Terry and Dory, who are like legendary guys. They brought them in and they gave him this guy, and they were like, he's a cousin or something. And then a year later, Coco Beware is beating him on TV. Garbage. Oh, Joe Murto. I remember him too. Joe Murto was another one that was like always fucking... always on TV. Oh, they even have little people jobbers.
Oh, no.
Little Tokyo was only 12 and 88. Come to think of it, he did always get beat. Rick Hunter. Rick Hunter was this big, he just looked like, I don't know, dude, he looked like a track coach or something. He was just this big, like 50-year-old looking guy. 0 and 81 for Rick Hunter.
Oh my God.
Couldn't quite pull it off. So, anyway, I found those jobbers fascinating. I hope you guys do too, because that shit is amazing. I
feel so bad for him. Like at that point, you're obviously doing it for nothing because you're not.
You're doing it for a few bucks. That's what you're doing it for. I made an extra $500 today, and you bring it home to your family, and then you buy some Menegot. If you're Mario Mancini, he's like, buy a little extra prosciutto this week. Buy the nice stuff. Get me the good. Get a whole pound. You know what I mean? We'll eat it while we're watching the thing.
Get some with an Italian name, would you?
Get some a nice one, nice imported.
Not the store brand.
Later in '85, I see a win. I could have seen that was little, but I still could have seen it if I was there. It was at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center in Poughkeepsie, which we've driven by.
Seen it, yeah.
It says August 20th, 1985. Steve Gatorwolf defeats Mr. X.
Oh.
It's just a masked generic
That's
guy.
the guy that they were going to unmask, right?
No, that was Mr. Destruction.
Oh,
this is WWF jobber. Then on Long Island, so they're taking him around though. Long Island, Steve Gatorwolf defeats Terry Gibbs, who we'd mentioned as a jobber. So they're giving him a run here. In Philly at the Spectrum on the 24th, he beats Terry Gibbs. So that's like every night he's on the road with them. He's part of the WWF's, touring group, and he's winning every night. Except in Denver here, he loses to Adrian Adonis, who was like a former tag team champ at the time, so he had some clout. Also in Denver that night, Junkyard Dog wins a battle royal here with Adrian Adonis, Cowboy Bob Orton, Davey Boy Smith, Dynamite Kid, George Wells, Iron Sheik, King Kong Bundy, Mad Dog Vachon, Missing Link, Nikolai Volkov, Steve Lombardi, Tony Gurria, and of course, Mr. Gatorwolf.
That's a fun show.
That's fun stuff. Yeah, I'd like to see that. That sounds like a good time. Then they go on TV tapings. He beats Barry O, who's like a jobber too. He beats Rene Goulet, who was used to have some clout. Now he was like an older guy and a road agent. Then he loses to Big John Studd. Then he loses to Brutus Beefcake, and Don Morocco beats him on TV. So now he's a jobber.
Yeah.
So he went from 1 month being like winning matches and being built to the next month, okay, go out and let Don Morocco beat you in 2 minutes on TV. Fuck it. So that's kind of where he goes from there. He gets beat by Adrian Adonis, Missing Link, King Kong Bundy, Big John Studd. So he's just kind of making the rounds of getting beat. He also beats Ron Shaw, who's the guy that I said who was bald and needed a different head.
Yeah.
But then he's beaten by Volkov and Iron Sheik. Randy Savage beats him on TV. That's on YouTube, too, the Randy Savage beating him up on TV. Terry Funk beats him, Brutus Beefcake. He's getting beat by a real who's who. They're all beating his ass. Yeah, it looks great. If then they give him a win on TV against Terry Gibbs again, which is weird. Let's see here. Oh, he gets beat by the Hart Foundation. Our old buddy Jim Neidhart back at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center again in October there. So he gets beat by them. He's still doing shit wrestling too, though. Here's March of '85. He's in Heber City, Utah. Yikes! At the high school. Gatorwolf, once again, former BYU football player, former Rocky Mountain champion, one of the stars of the hit movie Revenge of the Ninja.
Now it's a hit.
Now he's a star of a hit movie. At least they didn't mention Chuck Norris, but still. Fuck, man. Jesus Christ.
Did they say anything positive or anything truthful about that movie ever?
No.
Not once.
Never. Nothing truthful at all. It's all horseshit. That's all it is.
Unbelievable.
So, 1985 total for WWE, he has 8 wins and 23 losses. So they give him a few wins, like we said. 86 comes around, and now he's just kind of at house shows getting beaten by everybody by 86. He's this is a good fucking, man, these battle royals are fun. They have these battle royals, man. They sound like a good time. Fuck, Islanders, Stud Bundy, the Moondogs, Chief J Strongbow, and Steve Gatorwolf as a tag team, as an Indian tag team.
Yeah.
Mike Rotundo, S.T. Jones, British Bulldogs, Hart Foundation, Killer Bees. It's like a tag team battle royal dream team. Well, not bad at all. Nikolai Volkov beating him. Holy shit. Oh, yeah, he teams up for, here's a house show in Tucson, Arizona at the community center where it's Chief J Strongbow and Steve Gatorwolf losing to the Islanders. Jim Neidhart beats him, so that's crime and sports on crime and sports violence there.
Anvil, yeah.
The Anvil, Bob Orton beats him. A lot of people beating him, basically, here. 86, he has 4 wins and 33 losses, so it gets in major competition. 87 comes around here, and now he's full-blown jobber. I'm talking his tag team partner's Jerry Allen, who is this guy who had this
first and last name.
This weird curly hair that was like, it didn't look like a wrestler should have it. He had like this weird like white Jerry curl. It was a strange thing.
Like a low perm?
It was like a tight one, though. It was really weird. Yeah, like he had like weird Fraggle hair. It was just very strange. So he's getting beat. He's tagging with Jerry Allen like on every one of these house shows, getting beat by Morocco and Orton. Butch Reed beats him up in 30 seconds in a TV taping. Oh, boy. He gets beat by Butch Reed a whole bunch when he comes in. But that's okay. He's still wrestling in Park City, Utah, fighting Tony TNT here at the high school gym. So there's that. And now it's $10,000 to anybody who can body slam Mr. Destruction.
Money's going up. We got to get more people out.
By the way, it used to be $5,000 to slam the 480-pound Mr. Destruction, remember?
Right.
Now it's $10,000 to any person who can body slam the 587 pounds Twice the money, 100 pounds more weight. Wow. That is fucking amazing. So in 87 in WWE, he has no wins, 0-17 that year for him. So 89 comes around. Now, he is running a lot of all the territories are dying at this point. They're all going during the 80s. So the places to work are either little kind of indie shithole places,
right,
or WWF or WCW in 89. So not a lot of, I mean, AWA is still on ESPN, but it is fucking bad. It's dying hard. Mm-hmm. So anyway, there's smaller ones too. He starts running shows.
His own.
Running these little spot shows, basically. Yeah. And he gets arrested in October of 1989 for running a show in Arizona on an Indian reservation and having no insurance, no anything, no evidence of financial responsibility is the charge. He just ran a show, put a ring up and had people fighting it. Had no fucking any of the things you need to have to run something like that, basically. And then also was cited for that, so then he failed to appear in court, and he was arrested for
non-appearance. God,
for non-appearance and non-financial responsibility of a venue and all that kind of shit.
I think those people that used to run that UFC fight in the parking lot of the
yeah, that's not.
I think they were arrested too for the same thing.
How would they not be?
And I think it all came down when that guy got knocked out and they didn't have a medic on hand. I think that guy died. I think somebody died there.
You know what? Someone needed to die to make that go away, because that was, I mean, I feel bad for him or whatever, but Jesus Christ, man, that's enough. So, American Wrestling Federation now he's wrestling for, the AWF, and they present Warpath 1990, the name of the card. It's at Coconino High School.
In Flagstaff.
Yes, it is, my friend.
Boy.
It is. The American Wrestling Federation title match. Get ready for World War III between the champ, Steve Gatorwolf, versus Skull Crusher is his name. You want to see Skull Crusher, Jimmy?
Oh, you bet I do.
Here we go. I'll turn this towards you.
What is
Check him out.
Oh, my.
At least he looks in shape.
He does, but he doesn't look native by any stretch.
Oh, God, no. Well, yeah, you can't have him fight another native. You got to have him fight a non-native so they can make fun of him.
That was the idea of it.
No, he's on the warpath because he's a native and he's fighting this guy who has no respect for the native culture. That's how it works. Also, the tag team champs, the Mercenaries, who just look like a couple of guys in paintball outfits with camouflage masks on. They literally look like, I got to show you again. Come over. I'm sorry. Look at these guys. Looks like they're wearing paintball outfits, doesn't it?
It looks like he's fighting Slipknot.
I'm gonna fuck Slipknot up at Warpath 1990 at the old high school in Flagstaff.
That is awesome.
Oh, that is wild. And it's sponsored by the Coconino High School baseball team. That's great.
Jesus. Rob the funds from the baseball team for this.
I don't know. It's only $4 to get in, so there's not going to be that many funds there. Yeah. $4. So he is back in the WWF also in 1990. They take him in for a little bit to get beat up on TV a whole bunch. Yeah. And Ted DiBiase beats him up. Then he ends up going to All Japan, which is... All Japan is that's like a big deal. Guys loved going to All Japan. They'd make big money over there.
Yeah.
Because in Japan, they'd bring over the American stars, automatic bad guy, and, Hulk Hogan, this big blonde guy. He was a bad guy over there while he was a good guy over here. He's a heel in Japan, so that's how they would do it. Foreigners would be the heels, but a guy like a Native American type of thing, they don't have that over there. So he's a character to them. They go, oh, wow, I've seen that in the cowboy movies. They don't know what the fuck that is in Japan. So that's interesting. So, he gets beat by Goro Surumi. God, I'm going to say that wrong. Goro Surumi. Giant Baba. He's actually in a match with Giant Baba. These are all, they considered him a star over there. They treat him, he's in matches with stars. Giant Baba, Yoshikai Yatsu, and the Great Kabuki, who are all big stars. Giant Baba was running the fucking promotion, so he's the guy. Versus Abdullah the Butcher.
Fuck.
Who's as world famous as there is. Yeah. Ivan Koloff, who's former he beat Bruno Sammartino for the fucking belt. I mean, he's a star. And Steve Gatorwolf. He's the third in that.
Wow.
Who doesn't belong in this match out of those six? But that's how they're treating him over there. That's pretty wild. Giant Baba, Kenta Kobayashi versus Ivan Koloff and Steve Gatorwolf. Like that's he doesn't belong in those 4 people at all. No. He doesn't belong taking their robes back to the dressing room. Those are stars, man. Different deal.
Missing so many teeth today. It's so
he's
depressing.
a mess. His forehead is just scar tissue.
A mess.
It's a mess. I mean, he used to make it.
Yeah.
The Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
With, Brody.
Brody. Yeah. And his declarations. I don't know the words he says. I don't know that he has it all together upstairs. Let alone.
He's also a huge liar, Abdullah. He's a scumbag.
Oh. Okay.
He's known as the biggest scumbag and one of the bigger scumbags in wrestling.
Really?
Yeah, he's a while ago. I don't know how this worked out, so I'm not saying this is exactly what happened. No one can sue me here, but there was allegations that he had hepatitis and was still hepatitis C and was not telling anybody and still bleeding all over people.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a match. I want to say, God damn it, who the fuck was it now? Rick Martel. I think it was Rick Martel. Who you know who he is?
No.
He's a French-Canadian wrestler. He's a handsome guy, very big star for years and years. He was an AWA heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
And he said that he did an independent show. So Martel is supposed to have a match with Abdullah, and Martel's thing was, he told the promoter, I don't want him bleeding. I'm not going to wrestle him if he's bleeding. I heard he has hepatitis, and I'm not going to fucking get bled on by somebody with hepatitis, so I'm not doing it. And they said, oh, no, it won't happen. And he said, they get in the ring, and he goes, within 30 seconds, Abdullah's fucking blading himself, bleeding all over the place. And he's like, he just left the ring. He said, I just left. And he's like, fuck it. Nope, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm not
walk back to
that.
the. He said, walk back to the dressing room. Was like, I'm not doing that. I told you I'm not doing it. But yeah, there's a lot of that going on. Anyway, he does this. It's the All Japan New Year Giant Series 1990. It looks like a 20-day thing that's going on here because they have day 8, day 11, day 14, day 20. So I mean,
it's a wrestling festival.
It's like a big wrestling festival, yeah.
A restival, if you will.
But he does win some titles through here. He wins the Western States Heavyweight title for Arizona. I don't know what promotion that's for, by beating the Zodiac in 1989. He is recognized as the first AWF, which is the Arizona Wrestling Federation, champion in March of 1990. He wins the Southwest title in March of 1990 as well. He beats again. He must have lost it. Got it back again. The Arizona Heavyweight title, defeating Japan Bomber. Jesus Christ. Wow.
You can't do that.
No, that's pretty. Wow.
World War II is far too recent in the 80s.
Well, it's too far away to do that in the 80s. They used to have gimmicks like that in the 50s, you know?
That's
Nazi
crazy.
gimmicks and Japanese guys. That was an automatic boo. You come out with a fucking Iron Cross on and start speaking in a German accent. Fritz von Erich, that was his whole gimmick. Von Erich's father was Nazi.
Was this a Japanese guy that came in that was a bomber, or was it just a white dude in like a plain coat?
But they're just going for redneck anger at this point. They got Japan Bomber. Then he he loses the title to the Zodiac, and I say that because then he wins the title back by defeating the Iraq Assassin in 1991. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah. He coming, boo! It's probably some Mexican dude. They were like, "You're Middle Eastern. Just say up, and put a towel on and go out there." Yeah, that's what they wear, right? Sure, get out there, and then everybody
wear
would
an Exxon shirt or something.
Yeah, you know, say I love oil, and then all the people will hate you. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing. So, 92. Here he's at the Kanab High School.
Yeah, in southern Utah.
In Utah, absolutely fighting the Zodiac, and. They just used the same exact. All the opponents like shit talking to the paper about him is just the thing he tells them to say. Because this is a different guy saying, after I beat him, he'll have to go back to the reservation and sell blankets and beads out of his teepee. It's the same exact line years later. They describe him in the paper as a full-blooded Cherokee Indian from Florida, grew up in a sports family. His father played professional baseball. True.
Yeah.
And that's actually in the newspaper in his obituary, so I know that's true. Right. And, well, it might not be, because I guess they're not like they're researching. They're not fact-checking obituaries.
We heard this, so we're going to write this.
Their family said this about him. So his younger brother also wrestled and played baseball at BYU, apparently here. And Steve was quoted as saying, quote, "I'm very proud of my Indian heritage and the opportunity I had to play football at the Y." Okay, BYU. "As far as Zodiac is concerned, it's going to take all the talent I have to beat him, but I'm going to do it. I want the American Wrestling Federation Championship, and I can't think of a better place than beautiful Kanab, Utah, to take the championship."
There's like 28 people.
I was going to say, what? Scenic. "I know there are many BYU fans that live in the area, and I'm not going to let them down. You know, my fake football alma mater, you know."
Did he say the Y? Like maybe
Y.
he said maybe he played at the YMCA.
Yeah, down at the Y.
And he said the Y, and they just took it as Brigham Young.
It was on Brigham Street. You know that one. Brigham Street there. Yeah, the Y on Brigham. They call it the university because it's where I learned to play. He said Zodiac better bring everything because he's got because with the fans there behind me, it's going to be a long night for him. Also appearing that night, Abdullah Hussein, the Iraq assassin. He's all these fucking... And then Louis Spicoli, who actually, like we said, turned out to be something here. This is at, the sound room of the school. 1993, he wins the Arizona heavyweight title again in 93. Look at you go, boy, in April. 94, he's fighting all AWF events. He beats the Mauler, Tim Patterson, a whole bunch, a 13-man battle royal.
Okay.
Even it out, make it sound on purpose.
Yeah,
13 sounds like in Safford, Arizona. So really, I mean, who cares?
When you got 13 guys, James, you've got one guy that's just standing there watching 6 other battles for a minute, right?
He's got to go around. You got to get rid of one quick. Toss a guy out right away. Then he loses the title. Oh, no, that was a while back. Never mind. So the newspaper, Wrestling Superstars in Kanab this Friday. Appearing here, it's at Page High School, and the assistant dean of students, what is this? Oh, okay, yeah. He says the main event will be world-famous midget wrestlers. Karate Kid will battle Little Tokyo. The midget wrestlers have wrestled all over the world, entertaining kings and queens and heads of state. Okay? They are crowd pleasers and in demand all over the world. Also wrestling on the card is a former BYU football player, Steve Gatorwolf, who now lives with his family in Page, Arizona. Steve works at Page High School as the assistant dean of students. Keep that in mind, by the way, that he worked at a high school. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, please. Is Page on the res?
It might be.
Okay, I just keep that in mind because there's a lot of kids out there that I'd really like to hear from after this.
It's right by the lake, Lake Powell. Is it Powell? I think it's
Powell. Yeah, I think you're right. Others appearing are WWF star Virgil. Virgil will be there, DiBiase's guy. The Navajo Kid, Sheikh Abdullah Hussein, the Zodiac, the Starman, and Brick Armstrong. So there's that.
This is just a bunch of culture that these hillbillies have no idea about, so it's shocking to them.
That's exactly what it is. Wow. Boo him. He's an Arab.
He's different.
He's different. Look at him. The masked Zodiac defeats the Sandman. Oh boy, look at that. That's fun in that card. What else? 1999. Okay. Wrestling promoter promises to pile drive Pioneers fans. It says. I like this fucking intro here, 99. Hulk Hogan won't be there. Neither will Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's just how Steve Ketcher likes it. Really? The wrestling show Ketcher, now he's got a name. Now he's just Steve Ketcher because he's promoting. He likes it that way. He doesn't want all those people spending money and paying to get in. The wrestling show Ketcher will bring to the Hearst Field tonight will be nothing like what the wrestling fans see on cable TV each night. Doink the Clown will take on the Navajo Warrior. Doink was doing indies at this point.
Right.
This is before the Pioneers take on the Sacramento Steelheads at 7 p.m. It's minor league baseball.
Game?
I think it's baseball from what I found. I could find a Sacramento Steel, and it's in June, too. So, yeah. The two combatants will demonstrate all the body slams, pile drivers, and drop kicks of the TV pros, but none of the crotch-chopping, bird-flipping, or trash-talking. He says it'll have all the wrestling action, but none of the TV show. It's something the whole family can enjoy.
There'll be no dick slapping or people telling you "fuck you" here. This is all clean entertainment.
He said,
shit.
He doesn't agree with the direction of the business. He said, but you've got to remember, their $250,000 to $500,000 contracts are being paid by USA Television and Ted Turner and the other one. So they're getting that money. That's why they're doing it. He says that the American Wrestling Federation, that's the real entertainment, is what he says here. He hopes that this is going to go well. And he said also that there's going to be some local talent in the next show. And he said, I'm always on the lookout. One day I'd like to start a school here. He's going to start a wrestling school. 2000 July, will Orem be next in the ring? From Provo, Utah. This here is kind of funny. He runs a tough guy contest now, like a tough man, but not the brand tough man.
Right, tough guy.
This is like a hungry guy dinner.
Right.
They sell at the dollar store. Get munchy guy dinners. Munchy guy. That doesn't sound right. My hungry guy. Wow. So they have, what is this here? Yeah, it's Steve Gatorwolf. He's got a wrestling school and plans to host a fighting competition in the parking lot of his Orem school. This sounds promising. The 16-man tournament features elements of boxing and wrestling with oversized gloves, submission holds, and offers a $500 reward to the winner. So it's just a fucking shit show of people beating each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Orem, Utah?
In Orem, Utah. It could be Orem's first public taste of the fighting mania created in part by the Provo Fight Club. Jesus, what the hell are they doing over there? And between Provo and Club Omni. Gatorwolf says he's taking advantage of the publicity. I want to thank them and the mayor of Provo for creating all the stir and controversy and keeping it in the papers for us. So he's like, the city's division planning manager says that the use of that parking lot's not permitted under city code, and he will ask Orem police to shut the event down. But
doing a parking lot.
Gatorwolf said that his event is under license provided by the American Championship Martial Arts, an adjacent martial arts school. So, it's just a mess. He said, we're not here to break any laws. We're here to provide entertainment and have a good time.
Yeah. We're not here to break rules. We're here to search through the loopholes.
We're here to fight in the parking lot, not to break rules. He also says he's running a wrestling school. He says, who knows? Anybody stepping through this door could be in the WWF in a year. He says, He says, our plan is to train a stable of wrestlers who can go out and have a good time. That they can do. I don't care if the town has 2,000 people or 2 million. There are fans who will come watch it. He said he's interested in young men and women with an athletic background. Okay. He said all the stuff can be used. It can be learned. Showmanship, everything like that. He says, don't worry about that. He said, what they should worry about now is can they land without breaking their neck? Right away, people come in and want to call themselves something like the Concrete Crusher. And I'll say, maybe we'll just call you Flower Power for now.
Okay.
So, the fights go on and nobody shows up is what ends up happening. They said less than a dozen people there. So out of the 12 people that showed up, only half paid. So it's a $60 gate. So it's not good. It's just not good. They have he's training a young lady, 22-year-old Stephanie Folkman. This blonde chick, and she says, I took my mom into the office and said I have a new life goal. I'm going to be a professional wrestler. She said she's coming off a divorce at 22, looking to change her life around here. She said that this is a step toward the WWF at the time. She wants to be like China and, big star. She said, I never had Barbie dolls. I had Hot Wheels.
Okay.
She said that she's all ready to go here. She said it was tough the first 2 weeks. I'd wake up in the morning and I couldn't move. But she's since toughened up there, and she's ready to go. She said Gator came out with an outfit, and we cleaned house. So she was talking about her first time in the ring. Her and Gatorwolf did something. She said, I've got to hit the weights and get buff. I've got to practice flying higher, taking more extreme jumps off the ropes. My goal is to make it big within 2 years and be a millionaire by 30.
Wow.
That's the goal. Well, I looked her up, and Nothing going on in wrestling. I did find several Stephanie Folkmans. One is a certified dog trainer at a animal behavior college. No shame in that. That's good. I found a team lead at the University of Utah, travel writer, photographer, blogger, vlogger of all things wild. So there's that. Stephanie Folkman, senior investor relations specialist. I don't know what that's going on there. And then somebody with a Pinterest profile by that name. So couple people. So there
Probably
you go.
Not a millionaire. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying I don't think she made her to the world famous millionaire by 30. I think she missed her target goal a bit. March 28, 2001, there will be no wrestling in Heber City as there were supposed to be. No. Wrestling Warriors won't be slamming the mat in Heber City this week to raise funds for the Wasatch High School wrestling team. According to the high school principal, Vicky Gapmeyer, Navajo Warrior and Steve Gatorwolf, Bruiser Norton, and El Fantastic will have to take their melodrama somewhere else, they say. Whoa. Gatorwolf met several times with the vice principal and athletic director to discuss bringing their show to the high school, but no contracts were ever signed. So she says, quote, "It's a comedy of errors. They did not go through the proper channels, and they did not have a contract with us." They were selling tickets and shit, no contract.
And didn't even have it ready.
Nope. In order for the high school to be used as an entertainment venue, 2 administrative approvals must be gained. And I guess he didn't get that. There was an advertisement in the paper, the whole deal. Gapmeyer said that Gatorwolf is asking the district to pay for his organization's expenses, which include airline tickets. He also said he could sue the district for money the group would have made. He estimated his losses to be around $17,000.
Oh, no.
You're out of your fucking mind. She said, the principal, what will come of that, I don't know. Things happen, and this is bad for them, but they didn't go through the proper channels. I don't know what the fuck to say. She didn't say that part, but she said she thinks the show is more vaudeville than wrestling, but she understands it's popular. She says, we have a solid group of kids here, and we don't want them to get a warped view of wrestling. Not wrestling. They'll get a warped view of that. Jesus Christ. Only 3 tickets were sold before the ticket sales stopped.
Oh, my God.
$17,000 he's saying he's going to sue for.
Oh, wow. Jesus.
April 4th, 2001, St. George, Utah. A 911 call leads police to a very seriously injured man who needed to be life-flighted to the hospital with head wounds and body stomping, basically. That's the best way to put it. A St. George police spokesman said that they got a 911 call from a business on Sunland Drive. The dispatcher heard glass smashing in the background while the guy was calling, begging for help.
Holy shit.
They sent an officer. When the officer arrived, the victim, Lyman Wynn Sparks, was seriously injured, taken to Dixie Regional Medical Center, and was life-flighted to a trauma center in critical condition with a head injury. Police got information that the man who did it, Stephen Ketcher, our guy here, the dispatcher put out an attempt to locate him and couldn't find him. An Arizona officer in Colorado City spotted him and followed him and then ended up pulling him over. Meanwhile, St. George officials went to a county attorney to get the paperwork for an arrest warrant and get him here. Apparently, he went to the victim's office and he says he only hit him 2 or 3 times. He's a 300-pound guy. This guy works in an office, and he can't beat that guy in the head. He's 6 feet tall, by the way, they say in the paper here. In reality, not 6'4", and 300 pounds. He was then fled, and he then fled and was arrested. This is fucking crazy. He's got a head injury, this whole thing. He ends up being put away on $100,000 bail here because he ran. And he was the injuries were serious in it. The judge here says that he refuses to lower bail for him as well because of the seriousness of the injuries. They said normally it's about a $10,000 bail, but he's got a $100,000 bail.
Because he's vicious.
Yeah.
Society, right.
And they said, quote, if you take the heat out of this, you have an aggravated assault. The court can set conditions to protect the public, the alleged victim, and Ketchner's estranged wife. This is his ex-wife's new guy. That's who this is.
Really?
Yes, that's what the whole point was. They said that Ketcher would be willing to live in Orem, keep in contact with a friend who's the head of the Ute Tribal Fish and Game Department. I don't know what difference that would make. And only return to Washington County for court-approved purposes. They said both the victim and Ketcher's estranged wife are in tremendous fear. It was a savage assault perpetrated on the victim in front of several witnesses. Don't say savage assault not about
Native American.
Not about that.
Can't do that.
I mean, I get it. It fits, but no.
Yeah, you're
you can't.
describing the assault, not the person. But
let's not use that. Brutal, vicious, horrific, unconscionable. There's a million different words you can use besides savage at that point.
Right.
Apparently, he did this all in the guy's office with multiple other people around. Didn't give a fuck. Broke glass, beat the shit out of him. Didn't care. This was after Ketcher had sent him a threatening letter postmarked 4 days before that, and then he carried out the threats as well. He said the victim was severely injured, and they points to threats in the past. It's part and parcel of an aggravated assault. I urge the court to try to look past the heat and passion and set bail accordingly to the charges. So he was arraigned, and they said, plea, and he said, I'm absolutely 100% not guilty, which I think is OJ's exact fucking terminology. Don't say that in 2001. Not in 2001. Anyway, That's past the date. The judge said that Ketcher fits the classic pattern of someone who's so fixated that the law, good sense, and ethics are overrun by his emotion. The victims testified of living in terror because of Ketcher, and his ex-wife said she moved and changed her phone number to escape him. She said the abuse she suffered was mostly emotional with him, but then it's taken a step up. Now, Ketcher's attorney says he doesn't think Ketcher even went there on April 4th to assault him. He said he just went to hang out with him, talk to him, have a chit-chat, And he said he also tried to downplay the seriousness of the injuries by saying the victim's injuries might be due to the fact that their sizes are so incomparable. Okay. He's so much smaller than Ketcher. Yes, that's why he shouldn't have punched him.
Right.
When you weigh 300,
right.
You don't punch a guy who's 150 pounds sitting at his desk if you're 300 pounds and kind of a professional athlete sort of.
Can't beat that man about the head and neck.
No shit. Wow. That's fucking crazy. He said the law can't justify his actions and only allow they want probation is what he wants. And the judge said that, quote, you can't control another person. I hope you begin to understand and modify your behavior. You have got a lot to make up for, is what he says. Ketcher, for his part, Gatorwolf here, he says that, by the way, the victim, by the time this goes to court, the victim and his ex-wife are married now. So he said, I would have done anything for her. This is Ketcher, which is typical thing to say. I would have done anything for her. I guess it just wasn't enough. My love for my wife was greater than hers. He's a victim. Isn't that wild? He's a victim.
I wouldn't have done anything for her. I didn't.
Yeah. He said that he apologized for his actions and wished he could take it all back. He said he just wants to move on and not be in jail for his children,
Right. For the kids.
The judge has a different thing to say. The judge says, and I quote, I don't believe in my legal career I've encountered an individual that so fit the description of a stalker and abuser. By his own words, he attempted to justify his actions as an isolated incident caused by passion. You, sir, may fuck off. He is sentenced to, what the hell? He is sentenced to 0 to 5 years in prison. I don't know what that means. I guess 5 years is the max, but he can get out just about any time.
Any second.
He gave him credit for 7.5 months time served that he's been sitting in jail that he couldn't afford to bail himself out. And he is sentenced to pay $28,000 in restitution for medical bills. This is guilty for aggravated assault, which is a third-degree felony.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's pretty fucked here. But he does more wrestling. He's got girl wrestlers again.
Quick?
Yeah, he does not end very long. He gets female wrestlers all fired up and going. He's got different ones this time. He's got Dynamite Donna.
Yeah.
He's got Dynamite Donna, and who's a woman. What's her name? Larson is her last name. She's an SUSC graduate with a degree in elementary education and a minor in PE and dance. She teaches first grade in Salt Lake City and then wrestles on the weekends. So, they say she's been a model, a dancer, a high school teacher, and now a wrestler. So there you go. 2001, he's also running MMA Tough Man contests here.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Well, it's getting big.
Yeah, he's just running them on the res, just right. I'm sure with no financial responsibility. There will be 3 2-minute rounds along with open weight classes and stage single elimination. However, each contestant will start off in their weight class, and then the contestant will proceed to an open weight class. Gatorwolf says, we have to modify the rules for this contest to make it a lot safer for the contestants, so there won't be as much of a striking contest, but more of a submission-style match. Oh, good, dry humping. I can't wait to watch that. Jesus Christ. But this is a benefit for a kid that's sick or something. It's a sick kid benefit. Either way, though, he's running these fucking shows. He's a goddamn mess. He's getting arrested. We can't be fucking brutalizing people in their office in front of He's on the phone with 911. You're busting windows out. What are you, crazy?
It's a scary man, and not just like to the society, but like anybody that's involved with him is certainly in danger.
It's goddamn frightening, and he doesn't know what to do with himself. He's just sitting around, and he's a mess. And one thing he's not very good at, and he's never taken a lot of time, doesn't spend a lot of time at home. He's on the road a lot. Yeah. He says he really wants to settle into his place here, and he's going to make it better. He's like, I'm going to put up some like turquoise shit over here. You know what? I can't do this on my own. I need help. And he calls in Dexter Manley, interior designer from New York City. And he says, how is it you've come to arrive here? Yeah. Seriously. Oh, my God. Look at you. The feathers and the headdress. It's very, it's kitschy. It's kitschy. I like it. It's, it's got a thing to it. You have a whole little theme. I like your fringy boot things. Those are really cool. I actually had a pair like that back in college. Never mind. It's a long story. Anyway, so, what the fuck are you doing? You're white trash. Sir, I don't care what you are from Jacksonville, and you're white trash. That's the way it works. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Vince didn't even want to come in. He's in the van. He said, I am done with that guy. I don't even want to. He said, I don't care if he's got overalls. Tell him to keep his shirt on. Not interested. That's how bad you fucked up. You're a mess, and you're white trash, and I'm not even fixing this place up. It's all turquoise. Goodbye. See you later. Poof. And in a poof of boas and feathers, he's gone, and Steve is very, very confused, and he actually said, that's a great character. I'm going to use that.
I'm going to run with that.
2003, he finishes a 2-night weird tournament thing. It's very strange. It's on an Indian reservation with a tough man sort of contest with $1,000 prize. It's weird. It's very strange. The rules aren't boxing. They're 1-minute rounds with headgear and 18-ounce gloves. And then if there's a second round needed, it's under wrestling rules. They just changed the entire match at that point.
And we gotta rig this if it doesn't work out the way we want it.
Wow. Then you just wrestle. Then you just grapple for a while. 2006, he has a daughter named Amelie. I don't know who he has it with. It's not his ex-wife. I know that. April of
Amelie.
Emilie. Amelie.
That's Emily.
Emily. Yeah. I guess it would be Emily. Just
weird spelling of it.
Oddest way to spell it ever. Well, it would be like if Emily spelled her name like you. Right. That would be what it would be. Emily. So, April 2006, their son Logan. By the way, there was in the newspaper that he did a mission to New Jersey. Logan, he completed his mission. Logan becomes a fighter as well. Logan has one MMA fight, where he wins, actually, gets a submission in 2 minutes and 36 seconds in the first round, and then doesn't fight MMA anymore.
He did it.
But
he won.
He does fight some other shit, though. He does Logan Ketcher, Utah International Fighting and Boxing League match here. Fight Night 4. He's known as Logan the Man Killer Ketcher.
Okay.
Man Killer. He fights a bunch of these International Fighting and Boxing League, IFBL things, and he becomes the IFBL light heavyweight champion. at the time. So good for him. He actually does that. 2007, Steve's running on more shit here. To benefit Dalton Hackling, the Rage in the Cage Gladiators. That's one of those at the old high school. They had the first night for that promotion. Worked well. Second night, canceled. Yeah, they just canceled. According Steve owner Gatorwolf called them, or they got a call from the Utah State Athletic Commission saying that what Gatorwolf was doing was illegal. The Rage in the Cage was actually unarmed combat, which is defined as striking with intent to harm, and that has to be zoned a certain way. You can't just have people beat each other half to death in your parking lot. That's not. You just can't do that. So they said, they have to do. Gatorwolf, though, he says that the guy didn't get it. He said that the guy, quote, sees the cage setup and meanly thinks it's a full-bore cage fight, not realizing that it was actually professional wrestling ring. So he says they simply took the ropes down and put the cage up to keep the contestants from falling out of the ring. So it's not the same cage they use in UFC. And he said it's a great fundraiser. And he was very upset that they're canceling it. 2011, his daughter dies at age 5. That is horrific. Emily dies at age 5. That's horrible. It's the only time I feel bad for this asshole in the entire episode.
That's crazy.
Is that? Yeah, it really fucking sucks. And
did they say how?
Did not say how.
No, Jesus.
I don't know. But they end up doing a fundraiser for it on 5115 North 27th Ave in Phoenix. There's a fundraiser for it. So
27th Avenue and Camelback? That's
not
good.
That is not. That's a deep west side. That is
that area.
That's a rough. Roll them up, lock them down. That's a. It's Dangerously Intense Wrestling, and the Arizona Pro Wrestling community are hosting the Emily Ketcher Memorial Fun Show in Phoenix. Tickets are $5. There's a lot of people there.
There's not a lot of funds to be raised in that neighborhood.
No, that's the thing here. Not a lot there. They said, we decided to do a show for Steve Gatorwolf, who lost his 5-year-old daughter last week, because we are a community, a brotherhood in wrestling. And then he's saying that we're no more backstabbing each other. Let's be good to each other and do all that shit. So that's very nice here. They said, what is this? They hope working together for the good of wrestling and the good of all those involved. It's that simple. So Steve has nice people, looking good. 2015. Mm-hmm. Okay. The daughter of his former girlfriend.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Who, when they were together, was 15 years old, 14 and 15, came forward and says she was sexually involved with Ketcher over a 10-month period ending in February 2014.
No, you weren't. You were
No,
raped.
you were molested continually, is what
Right.
that. Yeah, you were not
systematically raped, dear.
At this point, he is an over-the-road trucker.
Oh, God, dear, fuck.
And when she comes forward, he abandons his semi on the road and takes off on the
That
run.
doesn't look guilty at all, James.
No, just leave a big rig on the side of the highway.
Leave Best Buy's load sitting there.
That's it. He takes off in what they believe, by the way, keep in mind, in 2015 or 2014, they believe he has a 1995 Ford Aerostar with Colorado plates.
Wow.
Not great.
Wow.
So he, they think that he is, he's on the road. He drives normally from like Colorado to Ohio, a certain route. So they don't know where the fuck he is. He could be anywhere. The girl told an investigator that she waited to report her allegations because Gatorwolf had threatened to kill himself and said that he, quote, wouldn't go back to jail.
Gross.
So, it's fucking disgusting. The case lists 7 counts of sexual assault on a child by a person in a position of trust, in addition to 7 counts of sexual assault. He's accused of 7 specific sexual acts. That's not 7 times. That's 7 specific acts that were repeated over and over again. With a 15-year-old girl over a 6 to 8 month period ending in February. The girl disclosed the incidents to her boyfriend, and he told his parents, and then that went from there as an investigation went. She said she hadn't said anything because she was afraid he would kill himself. This is disgusting. The affidavit describes multiple alleged incidents of sexual intercourse, oral sex, or fondling between Ketcher and the girl. He's in his fucking mid-50s right now.
Jeez,
he's 57 years old when this is happening. She is a fucking sophomore. That is disgusting.
Oh boy.
She said, "Oh God, Jesus Christ! Could this be a crime in sports low?
Yeah.
Could we have hit? Does that sound fucking like metal on rock right now? Rock fucking bottom." She said there were many times where he, quote, paid her $20 to let him, quote, mess around with my breasts.
Hey.
That's a new low, everybody. New low, everyone. New low.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, my God. She said what she did was because she did what she did because he was an ex-pro wrestler and he was big.
Right.
She said, quote, she did not describe him threatening her if she did not comply, but described him as very manipulative. She said he would not stop asking and would bribe with money and stuff.
Yeah, because that's called a prize.
Oh, God, Jesus
dear
Christ.
Lord.
Just trying to fuck this girl. Oh, my God. So he's one.
What a weird thing. And you know that, like...
disgusting.
The jiggle. Then he goes and tugs to that. That's fucking creepy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I got to feel up a sophomore. I'm grossed out.
Boy.
So he takes off. He's on the road somewhere in a 95 Ford Aerostar. He's seen in a casino at one point in Florida. There's a picture of him in there. He's wanted. And he was like telling her sob stories about, like, he wanted everyone to feel bad for him.
Yeah.
I don't feel
that's what they
the slightest bit bad. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Exactly,
I don't feel the slightest bit
so
bad
disarming.
for him. It really is. But I do feel bad for a whole other group of people.
Who's that?
Tell you that much. That is Stephen Ketcher, warehouse associate at Carpentry Inc. in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
He's got rough enough.
Stephen Ketcher, food server at Top That Pizza. He works at a bad pizza place, too. And finally, Stephen Ketcher, Department of Defense secret clearance, more than 9 years experience with Department of Defense networks in 9.4E and 3.5T capacities.
They made him sign paperwork, James, that said, this is not me.
For Lockheed Martin, he works for. Yeah, this is a defense contractor.
They absolutely found our Steve Ketcher and were like, is this you?
Yeah, no. This one's different. I am a combat vet with more than 9 years of experience troubleshooting DoD classified and unclassified networks in stateside, international, and tactical environments. While my MOS was 9.4E, I also functioned in the 3.5T military intelligence systems maintainer integrator capacity in my assignments with the U.S. Army.
And the
Not
only
our
time
guy.
I've touched a 14 or 15-year-old was when I was 14 or 15.
No shit. So he ends up turning himself in Florida, Gatorwolf does.
Wow.
He walks into a Clay County Sheriff's office and says, I hear there's a warrant out for me. You hear, motherfucker? You abandoned a big rig. You knew.
I've touched a kid.
Yeah. When he was contacted by an investigator, an investigator got a hold of him on the phone first, and then he wouldn't tell him where he was. Ketcher said he was dumbfounded by the allegations and wanted to talk to his lawyer. That's why he didn't turn himself in, because he wanted to talk to his lawyer. This guy said, I explained I was attempting to get his side of the story because all I had right now is her side of the story. And he said at this time, no statement is likely from him. And that was that. So he is, he goes to court and they show a pattern of sexual abuse. I mean, it doesn't get more of a pattern than we just described. His first appearance in court, he ended the whole thing after the guy, put him in jail with no bail.
Right.
It's a Judge Collins, and he says to him, quote, I'm proud of you, Judge. He's proud of him because they went to elementary school together. So Gatorwolf
you made something of yourself, and I didn't. So
see, you're sentencing guys like me to go sit in the fucking pokey. Perfect.
It's a nice robe. How do you like my stripes?
Wow. So there's a trial. Here comes the trial. All
the
this
judge
stuff
didn't
comes
say
out.
something smart ass like "wish I could say the same for you" or something.
Yeah, wish
like
I
that.
could say the same for you. Or Miss Perkins would be really, really fucking ashamed of you right now if she knew. Our third grade teacher. So the trial comes around. Yeah, everybody testifies, everything's going on.
He doesn't even plea, James?
No, he does not plea. He's going forward with it. And the first trial comes back a mistrial.
Wow.
Hung fucking jury, deadlocked jury, which is very weird.
I guess they went with lack of evidence. They want physical, like they want DNA?
I guess so. It's a 14-count complaint, like we said. It's fucking insane. I don't know. He's still held in jail, though, because he doesn't have bail money because they want to retry him, obviously. Sure. So they retry him. This time, though, the jury it's a 10-man, 2-woman jury. They start deliberations at 12:30, and then at 3, they got a jury. They have a verdict here. Mm-hmm. And, they find him guilty of all sorts of sexual assault. The girl testified to as many as 60 encounters with him. Jesus. 60. That's insane. She said she had forgiven him, though, since then, like religiously. And the girl's mother, though, called him a selfish monster.
Yeah.
She said, "You always felt you were the victim, from your failed wrestling career to your prison time." She said, "But you didn't break us." They played a profane voicemail message for the court, and where Gatorwolf is heard threatening the 15-year-old and her mother with physical fucking violence after the sexual assaults were reported to law enforcement. Once they reported, he called up saying, "You better fucking say you made that up or I'm going to kill you," basically. This is crazy. Apparently they got the letter, and it's played in court. Also, the prosecutor accuses Ketcher of flipping off, giving the finger to the victim and her mother during their testimony during the trial.
Shit.
He was giving them the finger when they would look at him.
This isn't a promo, man. There's no...
This is...
Calm down. Getting booed here is bad.
You want to ingratiate yourself with the jury. Giving the finger to a 15-year-old fucking sexual abuse victim probably isn't your best bet, I'm just going to say. He takes the Rubenstein, who's the prosecutor, said the defendant takes every opportunity to manipulate and intimidate the victims in this case. The public defenders said that the girls' disclosures were fabricated and retribution after the girl's mother ended a relationship with him.
Holy hell, man.
So she ended it with him. Why would they want to get back at him?
Right.
No, that's not how that works. If he broke up with her, that would be an argument, but it's not. So Ketcher was living with the girl and her family, acting as basically a stepfather, according to testimony, the worst stepfather ever. The public defender for him highlighted the testimony from the girl and said that, this is wild, and kept stressing that there's no other witnesses. 60 times, no witnesses. He said, quote, "With that kind of frequency, you would expect someone else would notice." He's too good at molesting.
That's the thing about being in the same house as your victim. Like you can, there are things you can do that get you away from. What the fuck are you talking about?
Then in the closing, this lawyer told the jury that the case hinged on the girl's credibility. And also, he pointed out that the girl admitted, by the way, the word is disgusting, during testimony that she even agreed to participate in certain sexual acts with him.
That's the thing about a 15-year-old. You cannot give consent.
You can't agree.
What are you talking about?
Now, the prosecutor got up after that and went, exactly. That's why it bolsters her credibility, because she admitted to it. He said, if someone's going to make up a story, they're not going to put themselves at fault for what happened. She's sitting here thinking it's her fault, telling everyone it's her fault, when it's obviously not. He's an adult. She said, does that sound like someone trying to get someone else in trouble? No. Her mom was the one that went to the cops. Thank God.
I pray to God she has all the therapy in the world right now. It's only 6 years later, James.
It's fucking horrible. Yeah, Jesus. She's barely an adult. So he, maintaining his innocence going into sentencing, which is never good for your sentencing, he made a heated, rambling speech that lasted more than 10 minutes. Pissed off. Oh, not good, not good, not good. At one point, he was yelling about the prosecutor, talking and pointing at him, and he said, quote, "Mr. Rubenstein, look at me." The prosecutor, who just ignored him.
Yeah,
he just ignored him. He didn't have to acknowledge him or respond to anything. He accused the prosecutor of improperly raising the subject of his dead 5-year-old daughter during the arguments to the jury. I don't know. He said that, he went off on this whole fucking thing, just yelling about everybody. They're pieces of shit. He claimed he was wrongfully convicted, and it's all bullshit, and he doesn't believe it, and it's how could they fucking possibly do him like this?
Now's not the time for these words, mister.
No, not at all. The judge, he has his own statement for him. He says, "You, sir, may fuck off 16 years to life."
Oh, boy.
Eat dicks, motherfucker. Have a good one.
That life part is brutal.
Absolutely. They said that there's no guarantee he's going to get out after 16 years.
Right.
He has to serve 16 years and complete a sex offender-specific treatment program before being deemed eligible for parole. His public defender says that he will appeal. He says Steve faces things forward. Steve moves forward. Gross. He said so. He's not gonna worry about it. Now in prison, he, like I said, did go to prison. The earliest estimated parole eligibility date was September 2029.
Yeah,
with his time served that he had there. Not terrific. Sentenced to all of this different shit, but good news for him. He doesn't have to spend that much time in prison. Because in 2017, he drops dead while in federal custody. So, fuck off, Gatorwolf, you molesting cocksucker.
That's the shortest sentence for child molestation I've ever heard of.
There you go. Dead as a fucking doornail, problem solved. There you go.
3 years in.
He does 2 in prison and drops dead. 3, yeah, with the waiting for trial.
The time served, yeah. That's,
there you go.
I mean, if there's any closure for that girl, I hope she's got it based on him dying in prison, because that's got to be the worst way to die, right?
At least in federal prison, yeah. At least you know he's not going to get out and come fucking knocking on your window or some shit, being all creepy. So, anyway, he's dead. Fuck him. That's the story. Dead funny. Steve Gatorwolf. That is a doornail.
If there's any grave that is in need of being danced on, that's the one.
You can do a war dance, I suggest. Chief J. Strongbow style. Yeah, that one. Do that dance. I just love it, though. We never get that quick of retribution. He molested this kid. Oh, what a cocksucker. Then he died. Yay! We never get that.
Right a fucking way.
That's great. That's why I wanted to do this story, just for that. I think it's wonderful.
I hope they Danny DeVito'd him and just threw him in the trash.
Just throw me in the trash. Just throw him out. Just toss him out. I don't know. Put him in the alley. They'll pick him up, I think.
Wow. Put him out on bulk trash day. Somebody will take him.
Put him out on that old love seat that couple across the street are throwing out. They'll look comfortable, and then they'll pick him up. So anyway, that's the show. That's that. Hope you enjoyed some good 80s jobber and wrestling and weird stuff, and just a weird case altogether. If so, get on somewhere. Apple Podcasts, I think Spotify, you can do it now. Stitcher. Yeah. Give us whatever the appropriate amount of stars is, which is the most you can give, obviously. God damn it. Give those stars. Tell something else, especially if you just listen for 2.5 hours. You like the show. Fucking say you liked it. No one listens to anything for 2.5 hours they don't like, So
you could have walked out.
You could have done a lot of things in the last 2.5 hours. So, do that. Get on there. Help us out with that. It helps drive us up the charts. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for your tickets to live shows.
Yes.
We're in Brea this weekend. We're also in San Diego, but that's sold out. But Brea Improv, get your tickets there. Also get your tickets to the first Small Town Murder Seattle show. It's a Thursday night in December. That one has some tickets left, too.
But Brea is almost sold out, too. So if you're coming this weekend, you better hurry the fuck up. You're not going to get them at the door.
No. They'll probably be gone at the door. They'll be gone by then. So get your tickets to that right now. And that's Small Town Murder, by the way. So just so you know. Also, you should follow us on social media. We're at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, and follow all of that stuff. In addition, you should follow Patreon. That's a big deal. I advise you, as your advisor, as your attorney, I advise you to subscribe to the Patreon, because We have a fucking ball on Patreon. Those episodes are fun. This week is no exception over at patreon.com/crime and sports. Our 2 episodes, and this is anybody $5 or above, you get access to all of the episodes for all the shows, anything we do. First of all, for Crime and Sports, we are going to talk about Flagship International Sports Television, which does not exist, which is why you've never heard of it. It was a federal marshal sting operation to get wanted violent felons in custody. And they set up a whole...
Is that acronym FIST?
It is FIST, which is the it's the acronym of the marshals, their unit. That's the thing. That's what's so funny is they gave every hint that this was bullshit and that you should not do this, and the people still did it anyway. Big sting operation offering Redskins tickets for free, and people came there. It's so much fun. Check that out. And then for Small Town Murders, we're going to do... I can't wait for this one. We've had this requested a lot, too. The crappy small town real estate report. We're going to go find a bunch of really shitty houses across the country and talk about them. And in small towns, it'll be a lot of fun. Why isn't there a floor there? No toilet? Okay. Things like that. It'll be a good time.
No toilet, no problem.
No problem. Shit in that hole. So check all that out. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And you're going to get a shout out because we appreciate you, damn it. And Jimmie will give you a shout out and mispronounce your name to show our undying affection. Yeah. And if you just want to make a donation on PayPal, you will also get the shout out. And that's crimeandsports@gmail.com to do that. That said, damn it, Jimmie.
Oh, boy.
I need to hear a list of these people who would never, ever, ever molest our daughters and then get mad at us for it. Jimmie, hit me with that list.
This week's executive producers are Tubby T-Dubs, Shauna Cyprian, and she sent money to say happy birthday to Brenda in Texas.
Well, thank you.
Melissa
Brenda.
Turner donated twice.
Wow.
Yeah,
thank you.
Twice. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Jordan Bennett, Laura she told me how to pronounce it. Baika. It's Baika, yeah.
Okay.
And Kevin Hoydall also. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. It's really...
Thank you.
It's fucking
so
overwhelming,
much.
truly.
Really.
Other producers this week are Corporal Carl Kirshner, whose wife loves milk with pizza, James, and we enlightened her that is psychotic behavior. What else do you like? Ketchup on your eggs? What the fuck are you doing?
Ketchup, that's fine. Ketchup on shit eggs is fine. That works. Milk and pizza don't go together at all. Ever.
Also, Christine L., Sarah Gardner, Laura Peak, happy birthday. John
I'm talking
Hughes.
Bad eggs.
Yeah, really, any eggs. I can't eat eggs. So
you can't eat any.
Matter.
They're all bad for you. Sorry.
John Hughes in Australia, Jess Campanella. Old Andy Pants is a process server, James, and he got called a fuckhead and then jumped in his car and put us on and felt better.
Good. I've been called a fuckhead during that many times, so I hear you.
Also, Janice Hill, Michael Billingsley, Nancy Weaver, Dylan Jones, Larry Butterfast and his beard are going to run a half marathon, and then he's coming to the Brea show, so can't wait to see you, Larry.
Run on over there, brother. See you there.
James Martyr, Liz Vasquez, Peyton Meadows, Brandon Gochel. Happy birthday, Brandon.
Happy birthday.
He proposed to Brandy through us, and she said yes. So evidently we do all their communication as a couple through this show. Brandy says they
don't even know each other. They don't even know each other. They've never met.
Stephen Patterson, Chris Heyman, Chris McConville, Christine Greenison. Boy, oh boy. Cal Bruce, Melissa O'Brien, Jamie with no last name, Jennifer Harper, Aspen Welker, Dear Mr. Potter, Cian Lee probably, Dirk Nickers, Emma Berry, Alexandra Nishaw, Duncan Kreminga, Obi-Wan Jacoby, right? Haley Adair, Erica Magliochetti. These Italian names are ridiculous.
I actually I knew a girl in high school with that last name.
Was it Erica Magliochetti?
No, it was not. I know the last name, but not the first name. There's many of those.
Kathy Osler, Paul Haynes, Graydon McQuoid, Tara Plunkett, Carter Millam, River Robotham, Hollis Styron, M in the space in between, Dave Nix, Dave Alexander, Travis D. Lalonde, Hannah Naxon, Stacy Liu, Ali what the fuck? Castellarian?
You are so...
Robin Knight, Jack Ismay, Mark Hughes. That's Jackie. I think she goes by Jack. Cody Coughlin, Tori Meadows, Lindsay Atencio.
What?
I don't know. Adam C.O. I don't know. Julie Holm, Nate Harvin, Christy Lynn, Richard Johnson. Good for you, bud. Sarah Suzabowitz. Fuck!
Going great.
Queen Usi, Sue Van Valkenburg Grice, Dominique, probably Wilkins, Karina McGee, Jace Battiston, Keanu Himalaya, Matt Lindsay, Maggie with no last name, Jason Orgel, Matthew Redden, Bailey Dalton, Sarah Templeton, Stephanie McNichols, Madison Manning, Tim Neifel, maybe, Amanda Murray, Dan C., Emily Gore, Nicholas Ochoa, Logan Bartlett, Andrew Wegger, Chance McBance. Did they really give you a rhyming name? That's brutal.
I think so.
That's so they don't make fun of you. We'll just rhyme it for them.
We'll do it together. We'll do it ourselves.
Matt Pacheco, Joe Gates, Caitlin Connor, Nicole Vanderwood, Liv with no last name, Paul Smithson, Heidi, what is this? Yali Savanto, fucking what? Coda King, Paul Connors, Reagan with no last name, Amy Schrupp, Alicia Reddy, Anthony Vigil, Matthew, nope, that's Michael Carboni, you guys.
Hey, it's a Mikey Carbone. Frankie's little brother.
Victoria Erickson, Shane Drake Murphy, Daniela Smith, Heather Hashinko, Iman Clements, Amanda Dwornicki, Shelley Stike Stilkey. Oh boy, LSS, Michael Hathaway, Mark Albrecht.
Hey.
Holly Sharping, Morgan K, Luis Amuzqua, Ashley Conkey, Doug Woodson, Sparks Black Star, Cheryl Olson, John Brady, Justin Klepacki, Katie. I've written these and I still can't.
Katie from your hand.
Simzek, Sarah Lubacher, Alexis Roosevelt, Carly Ritland, Mitchell Estes, Krista Gordon, James Pietragallo Jr., Angie Johnson, Johnny Salamino, Bumble 222, Charlotte with no last name, Shelby Wicker, Megan Pratt, Jen Patterson, Darla Luke, Caroline Zanetti DeCampos, Clint Connor, Nick with no last name, Christopher Bradley, Maureen Smith, Aaron Olin, Katie Schwann, Tiffany Mueller, Baby Horse 26, Patricia O'Brien, O'Byrne, AJ Kite, Ella Rogers, John Blaze. Oh, look at that. Aussie Amanda, Tracy Fisher, Beto with no last name, Alice Capper, Megan Allegretti, Russell Bauer, Jess Cade, Shannon Daly, Hannah Thomas, Chris Charles, Elmer Quezada, Sarah Ramadan, Pauline Matthews, Jamie Shank, Amy Ayler, yes, Alicia Elisheba Mann, Michael Moore, Karen Maroney, that's what that is, Andrew Keene, Sean Harrigan, Zoe Williams, Just Another Hillbilly, Seymour Buttsex, good for you, Travis Goldsmith, Lachelle O'Neill, Shannon Marholtz, Cody Saunders, Steve Solomonson, Casey Worth, Cece Bressy, Kim with no last name, John Parsival, Andrew T, oh boy, T Killia, Tycola, Lucas Sanders, Lynn Morrison, Veter Sievers, Terry Maimoni, Taylor Peters, Jason Littlefield, Seamus with no last name, Paul Drivers, Angela with no last name, Talia, Betsida. Betsy inside you? I don't know. Emily, I'm trying to read it as an innuendo. It's not even possible. Emily also, Brooke, Debbie Buell, Katie Holt, Riley Flanagan, Jeff Cooper, Ada Whittle Williams, Sue Coy, Danielle Aker, Sean Wiedemeyer, Morgan Howard Dodd, Devin Helvis, Steve Ashby, Jessica Zumalt, Kimberly Kamas, Cody Remy, Randy Castellano, Alexandra Zazdivdova, up to no good. There we go. Trisha Mitchell, Lori Stevens, Danielle Child, Sarah with no last name, Patrick Engel, Ashley Rowe, Ariana Stevenson, Jennifer Braginski, Mariah with no last name, Lisa Covey, Lindsay Balling, Jeremy Payne, Pauline Walton, Keith with no last name, Carrie with no last name, Abby Wigneraja, Dan Dewar, Gabe Rembold, Ryan Bowader, Eric Webb, Emma Harmon, Cassie Tidwell, Courtney Anderson, Kat Cronin, Marissa Dorman, Whitney Shields, and Ollie B, and obviously all of our patrons. You guys make this whole thing worth it. Thank you so much.
You guys are the best. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
Thank you. Honestly, yes, from the bottom of our hearts, we cannot thank you enough for what you do for us. So thank you, thank you. What if they wanted to get a hold of you to tell you that you should thank them more? How could they do that?
The way you have thanked us by taking care of everything we need taken care of is plenty. And we're going back on the road, so we'll see you guys in these cities doing what we can. Thank you guys so much for everything you do for us. Where can they find you, James?
Yeah, just look up the show. We're both on there. You'll find really us. Don't worry about it. Hey, it's the easiest way. Then you'll find about shit about the show, too. It's good stuff. Look us up, find it, have fun with all that shit. And keep coming back, and we'll be back. We'll be in, actually, next week. We are off next week. That's right. That we had, remember, we had planned that for months now to be off that week. So we're off next week, but we'll be back the week after that. Thank the fucking Lord. But we'll be back after that, stronger than ever, as always. Oh, boy. And until then, live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
with a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.